What's up, Rana? What's up, August Line, DMG, Jen? What's up, man? Great time and just jumped on YouTube and there's word up. Thanks for tuning in, man. I'm tired, man. I'm doing this thing. I'm barely making it to like 9 p.m. now, man. I'm like fucking, but I'm waking up like super early, like for me, like around like 6:30. But I'm like, I used to do this when I was younger. When I was younger, man, but it would happen in the fall. I'd be like super fucking sleepy by like 7, 8 p.m. type of shit. Then it just stopped for a long time. Now it's like the other. Now it's happening in this like going towards spring. Now I'm like fucking sleepy as fuck by like 7:30, 8 p.m., 8 p.m. type shit. Ugh. The goat is streaming. Yo, thanks, Charlie Gus. What's up, J1? I ready to do some math. Oh man, today was a busy day. But good news is I found like a decent library. So this was news to me. So I'll go ahead and just admit I was wrong. I'll just go ahead and just say I was wrong, right? So I was talking about the library here, and like the main library is not the best at all. Um, so I ended up finding. I remember I was walking with the baby down near the center, and I seen this area that looked like it had books in it, right? So I walked in there and I asked the dude at the front desk, I said, "Hey, like, what is this place? It's like a library or something?" And his English wasn't the best, which I'm not like, I'm not gonna bash him for that. I mean, your country. I don't expect your English to be, snappy, right? So he like trying to put words together and shit. But I had the baby with me. He said, "Oh yeah, but it's stairs around the corner, so you can't push the stroller up there." So I said, "Okay, fuck it. I'll just come back like next week or something." So I went back yesterday, and they have a so what I found was they have actually really great, I say really great libraries, but they separate them. So I'll just go ahead just run with it, say I was wrong. So what they do with the library is like the main library in the center is not the best. But if you want like direct topics, right? Like a whole section on direct topics, it's almost like, so if anybody is in here from New York City, the libraries here are set up like dorm rooms in New York City, right? Like the dorm, like one dorm might be just this apartment building, and the next dorm might be down the street somewhere in that apartment. Like it's like that with the libraries here. So they're broken up. But when you find a library, it's like actually pretty fucking impressive, right? So yeah, that was a new discovery. So I just chilled in the sociology library, then I went to the philosophy library, which and both of them was pretty good. I was like pretty shocked at the books. The only thing I didn't like about it is that you can't check out all like when I you can't check out all the books. And when I say you can't check out all the books, in the philosophy department, you can only like maybe half the books, I'd say, maybe a little more than half you can actually take home with you, which is understandable because those are some good quality books they got in there. So it's understandable. But then again, like, you can't take it out. But the good part is there's not a lot of people in there. If anybody goes in, especially in the philosophy area, which you would think philosophy was on one area, but it really covered a wide area of philosophy, like a really big area of philosophy. So I was really impressed. It wasn't a big library, but the books they did have definitely had some like core hitting points type of shit, which I was really impressed by. And the sociology department was actually really good because right now, because I'm split up between a few books right now. Some on a computer in a PDF, and some like in hard. I don't know if y'all can see it, but I got books everywhere. Some in physical form. So I'm reading the Rise and Fall of Communism now. And so through reading The Rise and Fall of Communism, you're gonna come across Karl Marx and with a Hegel and all them motherfuckers. Oh, if I pronounce that right. So I'm like trickling off into reading what they had to say about a topic, or you just like maybe find something I'm interested there and then like dive off into that. But like I'm really bouncing between a few. I still haven't made it to the other handful of books yet, but I'm like bouncing between a few of them. So, for example, like when I go out, I'll take St. Augustine's Confessions with me and read through his confessions, St. Augustine. And actually, I thought St. Augustine, I thought that was gonna be some bullshit, but in reality, I'm actually pretty fucking impressed. I'm actually like it's an interesting perspective to read his confessions, Mo, you said, "What's up, AD? You finished the homework from last week on Cambridge Analytica?" Yeah, Rana says one thing I've learned being 25 is old is in always tired, but you just keep pushing. Yeah, is I'm always tired. Okay, yeah, I got you. What's up, J1? Yeah, man. Yeah, so I'm really bouncing. Really, actually, I can show you guys because I'm about done with. Actually, I was reading this while I was making jam. I was making some strawberry jam in the kitchen while I was doing some hours back in the U.S. So while I was making jam in the strawberry jam in the kitchen, I had this book. It's about Bulgaria's history. So I was reading about their history, Bulgaria. If anybody in here is from Bulgaria, I was reading about Bulgaria's history and culture while I was making the jam. Yeah, it's like you kind of like skipping through to getting caught on a topic, read, because it always takes me about an hour to make, hour and a half to make the jam because you got to keep stirring it so it doesn't burn. So I was just standing by the oven, just like reading this while I had this client talking, to somebody else in the background because I don't pay attention to that bullshit. It's stupid. This book, I just got this. I just got this book yesterday. It really was. It's not really the best book. It's not. It's just kind of just like talks about. It's not as interesting as you. It's nowhere near as interesting as you think it would be. Nowhere near as interesting as you think it would be, based off the title. It's kind of like shit you kind of already you can already piece together on your own. Um, this was really a letdown. I read most of it already. I just got it. Yeah, I got it yesterday from the library, and I'm almost done with it. Once you count in the notes, it's like I think it's like 110 pages. I'm on page 84 now. So this was a big letdown. Try to see what perspective they had. Yeah, what is sociology in theory and the work in life? I'm still on the origins of political order. I just kind of got tired of it because it kind of came to a head, in my opinion, of the general theory. And that was the issue with sociology and me years ago, was that even though it is interesting, um, sociology on a whole, it really comes to a head real fast. The overall theory of what's going to happen. And see, and this is why I don't really care for history teachers and sociology, things like history, sociology, and this type of thing. This is why I don't care to take it like in a course or a class, because the overall theory is pretty much explained relatively quickly of what's going to happen. Once you get like most of the key points, it's just the same wash, rinse, and repeat type of shit. At least until something new happens to be discovered, it tends to be the same shit. And I told my girl this. I said, look, like I said, I told my girls, I said, these professions, in my opinion, are like beer drinkers, right? Like it's always that beer drinker who claims to be able to taste that something's more hoppy or something than the other one. And I told my girl, most of the time when guys are like that about beer and liquors and shit like that, when they get like super, super into it, what they're really saying is they really aren't good at anything else in life. So they're trying to like overvalue whatever little thing they can and keep up with to make themselves seem important and valuable. And this is kind of what like history teachers do. Like I mean, I get some people just like history. Don't get me wrong, but once you get to like legit professors and teachers of it, many of them just kind of get off on jacking their own dick off, saying, "Well, I know all these people's names and numbers that go along with them," and they just like go on this huge rant without actually saying anything. And that's why I don't care. I never cared for history. Taking a sociology course in a university, I've never cared for that because they just kind of get too caught up in everything I'm just not interested in. Like I don't give a fuck about John Quincy Adams' birthday. I don't give a like. Show me what the pattern of humanity is gonna do. That's the part that I was interested in. I was always interested in patterns and theories and thinking. So I started reading a bit more Karl Marx, which I always thought he was kind of cool, a good dude, a dude who, that group of thinker that's like thinking above it and both above it and breaking it down through in relatively speaking severe critical thought of, of humanity, right? And speaking of humanity, I finally stumbled across a Andrew Tate thing that I don't agree with. And to be fair, it was like a random live stream like this, a random interview. So it's like, off the dome talking type of shit. But I finally found the one thing I absolutely don't agree with. But I will admit I'm also ignorant on this topic, on this specific topic. So he said something along the lines of, it came up in my little Facebook thing. And he said, he's talking about the West is done. The West is finished. Um, but the reasoning behind it is what I don't agree with. He was saying when you go to Dubai is now I don't know anything about Dubai. This is what I remember from what he said. He said that Dubai has essentially just one leader, and the leader can just like walk down the street and be like, "Yo, fix that pothole," and boom, it's fixed, right? Whereas in America, it'll take them 3 months and money and time, all this. It'd be so long of a process to do, right? And yeah, the last thing you want is one person in that much control. in in any political atmosphere, the last thing you want is one. That's the whole reason why North America became North America in the first place. So you didn't have that happen. That's literally the historical backing on how to keep a, a civilization going for any longer than 10 years. Literally, literally. So that was the only thing that I've ever found on the guy. Let me get my tissues real fast. That was the only thing I found on Andrew Tate that I just absolutely didn't agree with. I'm going to grab my tissues. I'll be right back. But yeah, but again, maybe he was just in a different train of thought. Because I've been there, man. I've totally been there. My hours of doing this a night. Maybe you just be in a certain train of thought. And just, and just going with it. But yeah, no, that is the absolute worst thing you want for any civilization is for one person to have that much power. But yeah, now I'm reading The Rise and Fall of Communism now. And same thing. In my opinion, it's the same thing. Same thing as the sociology thing. Like, in my opinion, okay, communism wasn't funny, but it's a quite pathetic start. It was quite pathetic, in my opinion. But it runs out of. It was really a social. Okay, in my opinion, it was just a social experiment. And the sad part about social experiments is you really can't do them unless you do them for real. You know what I mean? And fuck around and risk destroying an entire fucking, people on accident. But yeah. Yeah, that shit was, yeah. I think that whole Russia and communism, I think it gets overvalued, in my opinion. I think it gets overvalued because it's Russia. And it's kind of like this kind of foreign mystical thing. I think it gets. I mean, don't get it was shitty. It was definitely fucked up. Don't get me wrong. I'm not trying to like make light of that situation, but I mean, at the core, it really started from just. I mean, the typical path of the whole like with that book with anarchy. It was just a typical path of anarchy, but it just went on across an entire nation of people. And it's still and the thing is, so this is what I was talking about was it last week or before last week? Like, for example, the caste system, right? Like the caste system was just icing on the cake from how the culture had already relatively been before that with the whole order system, right? It was just icing on the cake. So with the communism thing, that was real. Okay, this is going to be an unpopular opinion, and I don't know if anybody's ever touched on this, but this is just this is just something I just like have a personal opinion on, and it's kind of fucked up, but stay with me on it. My unpopular opinion is that ancient Greek Stoic situation, that is the birthplace of communism. I would say that was socialism. I would say that is the birthplace of socialism. And I haven't heard I still haven't come across anybody else who's even made that correlation. I'm sure someone has. Maybe I just never came across it. But yeah, I would say the ancient Greek Stoic shit is the birthplace of socialism. I would say that. Someone just lost his invitation to John Quincy Adams' birthday party. Yeah. Cheaper than U.S., especially Eastern. Yo, AD, curious if one decides to leave the U.S., how hard is it to learn new language? The times I consider leaving, it was always either money or language, but money is not a problem since places are cheaper than the U.S. Mario, I've been, wherever you go, man, here's the thing. I'm assuming you're American. If not, your English is good enough just by how you wrote that out to where you can go. I don't want to say anywhere because you fuck around and hit up some. You stray too far from Buenos Aires, you might be in a little bit of trouble down there. But you can go to pretty much any capital, any countries, any city center, any capital, any big town that's thriving in any kind of way. You go there with English, somebody there is going to speak English, all right? And if anything, they going to pay you more to stay up in there. All right. All right. So the language, in my opinion, as long as you stay near a city capital and all that shit, at minimum, you gonna come across motherfuckers that's gonna speak some English. All right, now it just may not be a whole lot of them, but they'll work with you because you speaking that American English, right? You speak because that American English, that's in the movies. That's where the movies and TV come from. So if anything, it's cool to hear that for them. You know what I mean? Like, so anywhere you go, just okay, right off the bat, just you can look at any capital city and you're totally okay, right? I would say. Now I haven't been to every city center, so I can't speak on every single city center. But I say most city centers are generally gonna have that typical dynamic of because let's say if it's a poor country, well, they're gonna want to always try to get out, and the easiest universal language to get out is English. So they gonna have English speakers there to do international business. The English is English is pretty much the number one language used on a worldwide level to get business done. Now French, I'm pretty sure French is the number one language that's spoken by most people on earth. I'm pretty sure. But as far as getting business done and getting shit done, everybody gonna know some English. All right, everybody's gonna know when you get to a city center. Motherfuckers gonna, so you be all right. I say just go. As long as money's not an issue, especially if money's not an issue, I would say go for it. Because here's the thing, like I said, the world's red pill, right? Because here's a funny thing that my girl, she actually found it, right? We was watching a Metal Gear Solid gameplay thing, right? And it was in a train station, right? And I paused because I called it. I was like, wait a minute. It had Czech written on a sign, but it had German. I said, these motherfuckers in Czech Republic. And she goes, well, how you know they ain't in Germany? Because Germany ain't gonna write Czech on their signs. That's that red pill shit. Germany ain't wasting their time learning no damn Czech. All right. But Czechs will do what they can to learn German because Germany's where all the money is, right? They trying to move up. I still remember I took a screenshot. It's somewhere. I took it because I caught that shit. Like, wait a minute. This something about Praha. These motherfuckers in Czech Republic in Metal Gear Solid. What's up, he turned 26 yesterday. Yo, happy birthday, Mount K-Town, 26. Word up. AD, are you doing to do it? Yeah, I got it up with Dirty Diana is old and mad. I'm trying to think. I'm trying to think of a music video. I don't even, was there a woman? Was she probably the woman on stage with him in the video? I don't know. It's been so long since I've seen a video. Well, I think he was on stage doing that video. I haven't seen a video in so long, I can't even remember, man. Because I'm thinking I think it was Dirty Diana, and it was another one where he was just like performing on stage, like a fake stage or something. But what's up, CGI Life? What's up, man? But yeah, man, yeah, if you, Mario, yeah, if you want to go, oh, because here's the thing, man. This is the other part. Whenever I'm hearing any story about North America, like there is just very, very, very little reason for me to even. I'm just, dude. Like literally by the day, I'm just losing any reason to ever want to go back, unless I just had to. Like it's a good base to go back to, but there is I cannot come up with a legitimate reason to ever want to go to United States, right? And it started when I seen this video of this football player, this white dude. He was 19, and the police was just ridiculous to him. Like they tried to accuse him of drinking, tried to accuse him of doing drugs. So he took the breathalyzer, it went 0, and they still arrested him and all this shit. Like it was just ridiculous. Just the police in North America, man. It's just that predatory shit. And then the other thing I keep getting, maybe it's just my feed on Facebook, but I talked to my dad about it too, and we were talking about these car rates, for a country that's built specifically for you to have to drive everywhere. What you paying every month for a car, dude? Like, are you these motherfuckers paying like $600-700? No, I watched this dude's video. It was like a podcast / video type of thing. And they were calculated the average car note in America is like $700 a month, right? And some people, they paying like $1,000 a month for a fucking car note. And on top of that, they doing it like 78 months or something like that, like years, like copious amounts of years. Like, y'all motherfuckers must be crazy. Because rent had just gone up before I left. And yo, there's no reason for me to. So Mario, I'm with you on that. You say you want to leave, I'm with it. I tell you to do it. I tell you to either go to South America or come over here to Central Eastern Europe and fucking kick it. I tell you to get the fuck up out. I tell anybody if they can afford it. I would tell anybody. Because even though I bash Europe sometime, and I usually bash Europe just because it's just so annoying that how Europe just immediately gets worshipped when motherfuckers don't know their history type of shit. Even Europeans don't even know their own history type of shit. That's the part that gets annoying. But when you're talking strictly on a social level of living and your quality of everyday life, immediately I would tell anybody, get the fuck up from North America, go anywhere else. Anywhere that's in the developed, I would say anywhere that's in, relatively speaking, developed world, where you're not gonna have too much poverty around you type of shit. I tell you to go. I tell you to do it. But okay, like if somebody else was commenting, they moved to Mexico. What I say is this: you're gonna go through phases though of being fucked up, of feeling lost, because most of us as Americans, all we've ever known is North America for the most of us, right? So like you're gonna go through phases of depression or whatever, right? Because all you've known was walking into a room and being able to speak fluent, fast English, and now all of a sudden you don't have that superpower no more. I mean, now you the one standing out, and now you got to break down language on a much basic term depending on who you talking to, or learn their language and learn their culture. So you're gonna go through ups and downs, man. Like because you translate money in your head, whatever the fuck, right? You're gonna go through these things. But if I would say you last it out, man, for at least about a year, and it'll come out in the most weirdest of ways too. Like I remember when I first left for good. Like it's different ways it'll like hit you in a new reality. Like let's say like the first time you get sick, right? And you on the other side of the world, or relatively speaking, right? The first time you get sick, or the first time you get real depressed or sad for anything, or the first time you get really, really, really lost, or the first time like that new game or whatever came out that you were so used to buying in North America, and now you in a whole different land or country with this game, like all your mental arrangements get shifted, right? In little ways. Like for me, like I said, for me it was like, but I remember the first time like a legit sickness started going around, I was like stuck, right? And on top of that, I couldn't drive a manual transmission yet, so I'm like stuck in a fucking house in a fucking village, like away from Prague, can't go anywhere. It's middle of fucking winter. I'm getting like it's imminent. Like I'm going to get sick because it's going around. I can't even drive nowhere, right? I can't even drive because I don't know how to drive a manual transmission at the time when I was 30. I didn't learn how to drive a manual transmission until I was 30. And like that hits you in a whole different way, right? Especially if you've never left, right? It's gonna hit you in different ways. So like when motherfuckers be on Instagram and YouTube trying to like show this glorious life of fucking doing all, see, they're not talking about all this part of it. You know what I mean? these goofy motherfuckers walk around trying to show you this lavish life on a fucking boat and all this shit. So they're not bringing up that side of it. You know what I mean? They're not gonna tell you that. Maybe it's their ego, maybe they just locked it away so deep in their head that they just don't even think to talk about it. Who knows? But I'll tell you about it. Got a lot of earwax in my AirPod. I just seen that. I gotta clean these AirPods out. I heard in Netherlands they only drive manual. Correct me if I'm wrong. Rhonda, I would say most of the rest of the world only drives manual. I say that I would ignorantly say right now that most of the rest of the world drives manual transmissions. Except America. I would say, ignorantly speaking right now. But from what I remember, everywhere I'd ever been, it's always been. Now, the luxury cars are usually automatics. Whenever you see luxury cars here, like they've pretty much converted, like well, I would say like Mercedes, like most of Mercedes, the Porsches here, the newer Porsches, they've stopped doing stick shift. They do semi-automatics in Porsches now a lot. But no, America is like we're all like, okay, because I tell my girl this in America, your security system is have a manual transmission, and most motherfuckers in America are not gonna know how to drive it, right? They can break in your car, sit in it, and look at that motherfucker for about 3 seconds, and be like, nope, and walk out, because you can't bullshit your way into driving a manual transmission. I would say, out of anybody who's never driven a manual, tried to bust out and try it like on the spot like that, and got to get away, they ain't gonna make it. Eddie, can we chat it up soon? Still have your WhatsApp? Yeah, sure, Alex. Yeah. America is depressing and lonely. Yeah. Because America's so built on driving. It's so built on it's made for driving. So and then nobody walks. Very few people walk in most of the U.S. So you end up just sitting in the house all day, or driving somewhere to walk around a mall real quick, or there's nowhere near the sense of just physical interaction with other motherfuckers to like walk around them or walk near them or not, that you just don't. So it creates this whole different sense of, in my opinion, just this whole different fucking mentality, for lack of better words, and it's really a special thing, in my opinion. It's really a special thing, because. And then on top of that, it drives the people to be more isolated and more separated, right? Which can be a benefit when you're talking about making a country, go and move properly. Because like I said a long time ago, as long as if you could just keep people separated, then you can always beat them and control them. And that's what the country is going to end up doing to the people. And it just works out in America with that. As long as you keep them separated and segregated, it's an easy victory, right? And like, now I don't want to get political, but I'll throw this out there real quick. And this is not an anti-Trump thing, but because I've stated where areas that I thought Trump did a great job. But Trump, in my opinion, I'll say this. If North America ever falls into having random domestic issues, right, like insurgencies, revolutions, shit like that, you'll be able to track it all back to Donald Trump, because he started that us versus them shit, and that's something that you should just never do. Well, going back to what's called in Dubai, Andrew Tate in Dubai. You don't want that. You don't want a leader doing this us versus them, or one person being being the leader. Like that one person has to have the ability to be taken down by other. And even then, a democracy can fuck up. Don't get me wrong. I'm pretty sure that's what happened in some country in South America. That's what happened. The country that hired that Japanese dude as a leader. The same thing happened down there, where they tried to copy the U.S. Constitution and U.S. laws, and they just end up just getting in the pretty much just gangs in there, and it's just the same. And they just went back to the same shit. But Trump is going to be, if the U.S. ever grows into that whole these because I honestly think there's going to be. I talked to I'm starting this video in a minute, man. But I was talking to my dad about the reality of where America is as far as the workforce and all this shit, right? And my opinion, which I'm definitely not saying I'm right, But my opinion is where it's headed with the internet and social media. Now, social media is a piece of shit. Don't get me wrong, because social media's main goal was never to spread factual information. That was never Facebook, Twitter, none of them motherfuckers. That was never the primary objective of them. The primary objective was to try to get you to sell shit. I'm trying to sell you something, or 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 get just flat out data on you. That was the primary goal of it, right? But on the back end, what seemed to happen was, even though there's a lot of misinformation, there's a lot of people actually spreading at the same time, spreading actual laws and regulations and new legislation among the people. So whereas to the point now where that same uneducated dude 20 years ago, now that motherfucker could pull out a phone and pull out a fucking an iPhone and be like, no, look, this is my law. You can't touch me because bow, it's right here. Right? And people are seeing that, so now they know they can do that, right? So in my opinion, where it's going is, in my opinion, the peasants, and this is just this is just historical, man. The peasants are going to keep getting pushed and pushed and pushed until they fuck around, stand up, and somewhere there's going to be some place in North America specifically, because North America doesn't care about the territories. They're not. North America doesn't care about them. That's a whole other topic. But somewhere within the North America iconic continent, somewhere in there, there's going to be essentially some form of let's just call it the French Revolution. There's going to be some form of that is going to eventually happen in North America, right? This is what I'm predicting, and here's the thing, and this is what I was telling my dad, because the kids, the younger people are starting to get more mad, more fed up, and more frustrated because, let's just be honest, the older generations fucked them. They left them fucked. And the older generations don't have the courage to admit it, right? But they left them fucked. The younger generations are more mad, more upset, more frustrated every day, every month, every year, because there is no hope in sight for anything to get better. There is literally nothing in sight for a youth to look forward to in life other than just drink beer, smoke weed, and either live at home or live wherever the fuck, and that is literally all they have to look forward to. And at some point, the aristocrats down to the fucking the uppity motherfuckers, they're gonna keep picking on the peasants, and they're gonna keep taking from them and taking from them and taking from, just like the French Revolution. They're gonna keep taking from them and taking from them and taking from them. It's and not just the French Revolution, pretty much every fucking revolution. In context of economics go, as far as economics go, they're gonna keep picking on the peasants and picking on them, because the peasants are gonna stand up and say, "Fuck this shit. We're so mad, we forgot to even be afraid of police now. So I got a gun. Guess who's going to get shot? Police." And then next thing you know, motherfuckers are every passing month and every passing year, people are getting a little less afraid of the police. Have you noticed that shit? They're losing that fear. So, see, the French Revolution, it happened relatively quick. You know, relatively speaking, in the overall context of losing that fear. Losing that fear happened relatively quick. But in America, it's happened slowly. Every week, every month, motherfuckers are slowly starting to get the courage to say, yeah, that's fucked up. Motherfuckers are slowly looking to show a police officer a law from his iPhone. Be like, no, this is my law right here. And on top of that, you're going to keep financially picking on the peasants. And it's just history literally repeating itself. They're going to keep picking on the peasants. They're never going to give the peasants more. Never. This has never been a thing in the majority of human history. They're never going to give them more. They're going to wait till the peasants finally wake up. They're going to get so mad they're going to forget to be afraid of authority and just start doing whatever they want. Because why? What else do they got to lose? To pay $3,000 in rent? Well, now they get to live rent free in prison. You know what I'm saying? It'll get to that point. and then they're gonna stand up, they're gonna fight, and then let's say it happens in fucking Montana, right? Well, then all like the French Revolution, all the other states gonna look at Montana and be like, yeah, we don't want that shit to happen over here. We gonna go ahead and relax a little bit and give them something. And then it's gonna soft reset for a little while, and they're just gonna keep pushing it again. This is like, it's literally history repeating itself, right? It's not gonna get better as a peasant, all right? It's not, unless you get lucky, unless you work your way out of it. You got to get out of that fucking area and get somewhere else, right? If you were not born into that family, or if you don't have access to the tools to dig your way out, get the fuck out. If you just working at Circuit City and fucking Best Buy, some shit like that, it's not going to get better. History has proved this time and time again. It does not get better. It only gets worse for you, right? You gotta get the fuck out. Let me switch to this video. Hopefully you can still hear me. Hopefully Streamlabs didn't fuck up. But yeah, it's not gonna get better, man, for the peasants. Yeah. So let me finish off where I was going with that real fast. So the next step is going, but here's the thing, on a deeper level, it's going to get even more fucked up, right? Because let's say when that revolution finally does happen, which is going to happen at some point, right? For one reason or another, it's going to happen because they can't just keep doing that. It's going to happen. But the deeper issue, the secondary issue, is when that revolution does happen, right? Which is going to happen. It's just a matter of time, whether it's Andrew Tate or it's Bandrew Bate. It don't matter who the fuck whose name it is that's written on it. All right, and this is the importance of what I always want to get through to you on my channel. Do not pay attention to one man. Pay attention to the habits of humanity. This is why I never put a bitch's name in any. I don't think I ever put a one bitch's name in any video on here, because I don't want you to focus on one name, one person. Focus on humanity, right? It's going to eventually happen. Something's going to eventually give way, and something's going to eventually happen. That's just a guarantee. The next step that's going to happen is that divide is only going to grow bigger between the richer countries and the poorer countries, right? Because guess what? When that divide happens, when that revolution happens, where is all this extra money supposed to come from to relax all this shit? Well, they're going to do the same thing. The government is going to do the same thing. And in this day and age, guess who's going to be the next peasant in line? The poorer countries. And we're going to take more and more from those poorer countries, right? But luckily, and I mean that in a sarcastic way, luckily, those poorer countries, they don't got weapons to go fight North America or richer countries when they screw them over. So they just get stuck, digging out of trash. And that divide grows bigger and bigger and bigger. That's how it's going to happen. Right? Because the peasants always get the shit side of it. The aristocrats always escape. The aristocrats always escape as long as creative destruction didn't step in. Creative destruction is essentially what ends up destroying the aristocrats. But that's usually about it. Because once you get so much money, a motherfucker would just take that money, somebody will just come and take it and put it into something for you. If you got, because your name is attached to it. Motherfuckers end up dead doing that. But aristocrats usually, they get taken out for shit like creative destruction. Everyone needs to know Darcy. Let me open this window real fast. I'm going to start the video. Yeah, so let's start this video. Let me shut my ass up. So Dirty Diana is old and mad. Let's see, let me turn off this. Okay, so let's go.
Diana, I am Generation X, and I'm not gonna, just gonna leave it at that, as far as age is concerned.
Can I please have your age, Diana? For the podcast purposes and for data purposes. 46?
Yes.
Good.
Yeah.
Good.
And yes, I'm single.
And you're single. And what did you say you do for a living?
I'm an artist and a tarot card reader, so.
Nice.
Yeah.
tarot card reader. So
Yeah.
a witch.
Yes.
We got a witch on the podcast. So
I'm so excited about that.
you're excited about the witch?
Yes.
Oh, I did not. No. Oh, you know what? If we come back again, I'll bring my cards next time, and we
You
can
bring your
talk about
cards?
them in relation to dating and stuff. Yeah.
I would love that.
Yeah.
I literally have crystals in my pocket right now.
Yeah. I
You
can
have crystals in your pocket.
Oh, I didn't.
So you see, ladies, we got a witch. We got someone here with crystals. We got a lot of interesting individuals on the panel today. So let's get right into it with the first question. So since all of you ladies was on Bumble, and you was on there for a purpose, tell me, why were you on Bumble?
I deactivated my account actually, so I'm not really on there anymore. I deleted
Okay.
the app.
You'll be back.
No, I don't think so. I was on there initially. I had been off of it for a while. I downloaded it and started talking to a guy because I want a relationship. You know, that's what I want. Like,
Okay.
I had all the adventures. I have all the stories to tell. Like, no, I just want somebody that I can count on. That
Yeah.
knows gonna be there. The problem is I it's gonna sound, really like conceited, but because of the way I'm built, I tend to attract a lot of men who are only looking to hit it and quit it. They will lie. They will act like.
Okay. Because no. Okay. We have to specifically break down the definition of the sentence. What she's attracting, right? Okay, we have to make this very clear when talking about women, right? Her as female woman's body attracts dick, right? Now her as a human, her character as a human doesn't attract much of anything at all, because if it did, it wouldn't be this hard for her to she wouldn't have to resort to online dating. If her personality was just so fucking great and she was amazing, she wouldn't have to resort to fucking to putting old woman's body on auction on Bumble or whatever the fuck, right? So first, you have to remember, there's not very much about her as a human that's likable. Now, her as an object, yeah, she can there's always going to be some. From the age of from guys from the age of 16 to 160, just would not mind having an extra woman's body around, right? He's not gonna. But see, that part gets women's heads that part gets women so confused with ego trips, right? She's 46, can't keep a man at 46. If she was so amazing, again, if her character was so amazing and so great, she wouldn't have to be on Bumble at 46 years old. Okay. And side note, that whole tarot reading card shit, I actually just got off of that topic in that Anarchy book, because it touched on women. Women have historically, that's another thing, historically been interested in like I said, anything that cannot be tied down by proper logic, women will thrive. They will thrive and find relative happiness in it, because once something can't be defined, now you can't measure it, right? And if you can't measure it, there can't be any countermeasures to it, right? Because it's dingbat mythological bullshit. It's the same reason why religions take off and do so well. Because again, as long as there's no clear definition, a clean-cut, clear definition on the entire process, as long as that doesn't exist, you can't define it. So now you can't measure it, right? And now since you can't measure it, now you cannot make countermeasurements to it, right? So since you can't countermeasure it, it's always going to be stuck in this big gray zone of, maybe. It's always going to get stuck in that middle zone, right? And there's nothing women love more than to mask bullshit around logic, whatever little logic she has. Women they've always thrived. This is why women have historically been called witches, because women naturally love to hide behind bullshit, makeup. They've historically fake hair. They've always loved to hide behind fake, non-definable bullshit. What's up, Reliant? Yo, what's up, AD? I'm currently sick right now. Your stream will help me get through the afternoon. Yo, sorry you sick, man. I was sick about 2 weeks ago, man. I was there. Sorry you sick. But they tuning in, man. Hope you feel better, man. What's up, Super? Yeah, let me read the last comment. Super said, "What's good, AD? Glad to see you feeling better. I'm kind of nervous about leaving here without a college degree." Super, man, let me tell you something. I was just talking to somebody else about this. Um, um, with that college degree thing, see, that's another thing America is pushing on the people there. More specifically, I say speak about America. I mean, don't get me. A college degree is always going to be a little better, but that whole idea of you have to have a college degree or you're nothing. That is more strictly an American thing, right? That is more strictly that world. Because for the fact that your English that you speak completely fluent English, that in itself can be used in various parts of the world, right? But the thing is, like, we don't see it because we grew up with it, so we don't see the value in American English. It's just normal to us. But when I came here, there was a few guys here that didn't have a college. They didn't go to college, and they was running all around Europe. There's a few guys like that. That college degree thing is really an American phenomenon of it. Of putting into the people, like, you're just never good enough. In the US, you're just never good enough, man. And you're just, and what happens is, you're like, in America, you're just so beaten with it constantly, like nonstop. No matter what you have is not good enough. That consumerism is just completely off the charts in America. Whatever car you drive is not good enough because you need the XL model or the XXXL model or the XL GS29 model. Whatever, like, it's never enough, dude. Like, and that's that American consumerism just going haywire. No matter what, if you got a bachelor's, now you need a master's. You got a master's, now you need a doctorate. You got a doctorate, you need 2 doctorates. Like, it's never gonna be enough. And I give a great example. I grew up with my dad, and my dad was duties. He would be in these antique car, historical car club, right? So they would have all these old cars in the groups. He was in a group of them, and my dad, he had a Pontiac. Other guys, they had Chevelles, Corvettes, all this shit, right? And I know, and this was my first experience with it, of seeing, like, it's just never enough. That all the guys' cars were beautiful, right? They were all showroom quality. They kept them maintained. But here's the thing, like, their car would never be good enough. Like, it was always something wrong with everybody's car. Something was rattling, something, it was, but if you were to see the car, it'd be like, yo, yeah, this car looks fucking immaculate. But they didn't see it, right? And that was my first, from my perspective as a kid, that was my first introduction into learning how to be happy with something, right? Just learning how to just sit down and, no matter what it was, just be happy with it. Because I seen these grown men with these Chevelles, Corvettes, old Grand Prix, old Mustangs, all this shit, and none of them was happy with their shit, man. None of them. It was always kind of, well, I could do this to it. Like, it was just constant. And that's when I learned it. I was like, yeah, I'm gonna learn how to just be happy. And I tell you, and to be honest with you, I didn't really face it until I got into building my own gaming computers. And I got hit by it. Like, no matter what video card I had to get it. Well, I guess I could get the 980. You know what I mean? Back when the 900 series was big. Like, it was like all that. Like, and I remember back then, I said, you know what? I'm just gonna cut it off. I'm gonna be happy with whatever I got and just play and just, and just be happy with it, whatever it is, and just chill with it, right? But no, that's America. I don't know how the UK is specifically with that. I'm sure it's not very different. I'm sure it's because this is what tends to happen in the richer countries. That whole, it goes to the other extreme of like it's just never good enough. AD, how much cheaper is Eastern Europe countries versus the US, and how stricter are the laws? Mario, well, that's the thing. Like, police are nowhere. Well, it's two things, man. One, police are nowhere near as predatory as anywhere I've seen. That whole predatory thing. That's another thing that seems to be really more of an American thing. Predatory police. Everybody wants to be a hero, and they all want their promotions for getting a certain amount of arrests or giving out so many tickets a month or week or whatever. That's an American thing. But also crime, from my perspective, I haven't seen or heard much crime. Did you like physical fights in public? None of that shit. None of that is a thing anywhere that I've been. I've felt more safe outside of North America than I felt inside of North America. To be honest about it, I felt more safe. I felt more safe over here than back there. But the thing is, because like for example, like another example, my dad was here. That was his first time like really leaving the country. And so he would get to like kind of shittier looking areas out here. Like for example, I don't think he went here, but Visachanny, that's an area that looks kind of like run down. You could tell it was like an industrial area maybe some years ago, but it's like, done now. Now in America, that place would look like some crime would happen, right? But I've been here long enough. I lived in Visachanny when I first got here. Like it just looks like that. They not like that whole that whole public violence shit just doesn't. And that goes more in part with Europe's history, I'd say, with Europe proper, with the history here of making that common law more in place to just want to follow the rules more. Like that was built up more here for much more longer than it was in America. Like, for example, in America, our thing is we follow rules because we don't want to get in trouble. You know what I mean? Whereas here, it's almost like it's in the people more to follow rules because you should follow, you should follow some human decency rules just because you just should do it. Right? Which sounds pretty, ridiculous, but that's the realities. But as far as cost, well, rent's gone up everywhere, but it didn't go up here until the whole Ukraine scenario. And all of Europe tried to cash in on that shit, which just went fucking haywire. But that's a whole other topic because I want to get through a decent chunk of this video. So let me get back to this video.
They want a relationship with me. They will make me think that, and then they keep me around for about a month. And then when I start to like them, they find whatever reason they can to bounce.
Yeah, because you're 46.
So and that's the recent person. So I'm not on there anymore. I just don't want to waste my time.
Got you. So
I don't want to keep going and having my hopes up, thinking that this person will maybe want to get to know me, but they never fucking do.
yeah.
So I'm
Yeah,
just
nobody
tired of
wants
it.
to
I'm
get
just
to know
done.
you. Yeah.
I'm good with my cat.
And get with the cat. Well, you said a lot there, so let's break it down just like how I did with those two. So basically, you were on there for intentions of looking for something serious. You're 46 years old. You're not really with the games.
No,
You're
I
looking for
do all
something
that.
serious.
I was their age once.
Facts. Guys date with the purpose of having sex. So what I'm saying is you're not special to that. That happens to all females.
I'm not saying that.
You know what I mean?
What I am saying is that I'm tired of these, like, I can't date men my age because they're too busy dating women their age.
Yeah. You know the reason for that?
Their pussy's tighter.
No.
Got a small one, and he's got a small one. So
well, that
and she hasn't had as much sex as I have, so she doesn't know all the tricks that I know.
I'll tell you.
I'm just saying, I got 2 kids. You know what I'm saying?
Well, Diana, I like you.
It's true.
You're very
You can't-
direct.
You can't compare a
Very direct.
23-year-old female with a 46-year-old woman.
You
that
can't.
knows how to do it all.
You can't. But there's
all
actually.
of those freaky moves, I know how to do them.
You know how to do them too. I'll tell you the reason why. So women are born with their sexual value. Their dating sexual value.
Mm-hmm.
Men, we have to earn our dating sexual value. You know what I mean? Guys value beauty and youth. Their sexual market value tends to go down. It's just natural, like you said. You can't compare.
Well, Respectfully, I disagree. That might be the case for some.
Yeah.
I believe as a whole, in general, men don't operate that way. A guy who is 40 dates a girl who is half my age because she's easier to manipulate. She's easier to control. She's not looking for the same type of things that a woman over 35 is looking for. A woman over the age of 35 is looking to settle down, looking for somebody who's secure. She's already seen certain patterns in men she's dated or people that she's dated. So she knows the red flags and she is not easily manipulated. She's not easily controlled. You can't fool me because I already know the game you're playing because it's been played.
Okay, no. She will say anything. She'll say anything. Now she knows the reality. Like I said, okay, if I get her drinking some wine and we get to hanging out and talking and shit, and I get her to open up, she knows the reality. She'll say anything on TV or whatever, so she don't look too stupid. So she's not gonna look too stupid, right? She already knows this reality, right? Again, like I say so many times before, the only time a woman is looking to act like she has some sense is when she's figured that she's losing. That's it. Women are not out there to do genuinely righteous, decent human shit. The only time she's looking, okay. It's like a kid, right? It's like a little kid. You always know when a little kid gonna want something. When I'm talking like maybe like 6, 7, 8, 9 years old, you always know when a little kid gonna want something because now all of a sudden he acting nice and acting like he got some damn sense. He or she, you know what I mean? See, this is why I say women, they're children. The only time, it's the same thing with grown bitches. They don't grow up. They always stay, it's always the same shit. All right? The only time she's looking for some decent shit or some righteous shit is because she's figured that she's losing. Now, she knows she can't compete with no 23-year-old, right? But the typical response that she thinks will get her validated by society to say, oh, well, she's 23, she can be manipulated. Let me tell you something. Them bitches were getting their throat fucked on facial abuse since they was 18. That bitch, look, this old ass woman knew how to and how not to get manipulated since she was 16. Right? What do I say all the time? See, that woman, she knows the man she wants to hang around and what man she don't. She's learned these interpersonal social skills long before men did. Right? This is why I say a typical 18-year-old girl has the same social and mental awareness, has the same social awareness as a 36-year-old man. The average 30, probably even higher than that, probably older than that. Because that girl has been getting raw dogged left and right. If she hasn't been getting raw dogged, she's had the opportunities to get raw dogged, and she knows which men she wants to get involved with and which ones she doesn't. She knows the reality, all right? But she's going to put on this whole fake act. Oh, you can't manipulate me. She's going to put that whole act on TV because she don't want to admit it. Right? When she was 22, she had men who were 43 buying her all types of shit, paying her rent all time. How much you want to bet? There was some older 45-year-old dude who was coming by giving her gifts, clothes, all time, and she was manipulating the fuck out of him. Who you think was manipulating then? Was it the old man or was it her? Think about it. Think about the shit. Think about how fucking ridiculous her claim is. But again, because bitches do not know natural righteousness. So all they do is they always fucking hover back to what they think society is going to accept them as to get that validation because she can't come up with a genuine thought. It's damn near impossible. The first 30 years, woman is going to essentially skate by completely. When it comes to social interactions, right? When it comes to that, and the social interactions will breed getting her rent paid and getting her free food on Tinder dates and all that. That's going to breed that down the road. But when it comes to social interactions, she skated by the first 30 years. Didn't even have to put any effort in, right? But she's getting older now. She's older. And that's where all, you can't manipulate me. That's where all this shit. That's where all this dingbat shit is coming from, is because she don't want to admit it. Again, when she was 23, how much you want to bet she was manipulating 43-year-old men? How much you want to bet she was manipulating 46-year-old men? She knew exactly what 46-year-old wanted to shove his dick down her throat when she walked in the fucking room. Who the fuck was manipulating then? Was it the 46-year-old man or was it you? This little innocent 23-year-old. Get the fuck out. Grow the fuck up. Grow the fuck up. Grow up. At 46, grow the fuck up. Grow up. You can't run that game on me because I know where you've been. You just another basic woman, right? That's all. That's why. Because you want to know why I know you basic? Because because no 46-year-old man wants to deal with you too much longer than a month. And in my opinion, that's really too long at that. To be dealing with you at 46 with 2 kids. That's really too long at that point. Right? But yo, with these guys who talk to women like this on camera for any longer than 5 minutes, these men are amazing because I just couldn't do it. I can't do it. I would literally go crazy. Because he's trying to hide behind all this bullshit. You can't manipulate me. The fuck? This is not about manipulation. It's about you getting older and don't nobody want your old bitter ass. That is what it's about. That's what it's about. This is not about manipulation, right? Because see, and women specifically love this realm, right? Diving into mental games and illnesses, right? Because see, like I said before, about a week or 2 ago. And I'll be honest about it, because I do this as a profession, right? And I'll be honest about it. The whole psychology field and all this shit, this is literally just glorified alchemy, right? Now, there is some logical points, like in alchemy, to make distilled water. I mean, there's some logical points in it, but the overall end goal, the end game of psychology and the reality of it, it's pretty much a pseudoscience. Like I said, there's some qualities that stick out as logical, but the overall sense and the end game of it all is pseudoscience. That's what it is, right? And I'm humble enough to admit it, right? But and since it's pseudoscience, this is where women gravitate towards. Because now she can just do any mental gymnastics and say, oh, manipulation, gaslighting, whatever the fuck, anything, narcissist, and any quick little word they can learn in on a 2-minute Facebook reel that she can adopt into her personality, she'll do it, right? Because see, now she can just flip it. She can just flip it. Oh, I got this, I got that, I got this, I got that. Oh, well, maybe I got this now. Oh no, maybe I got this. And she can live in that big gray zone of bullshit. Because again, what I said earlier, if you cannot properly hold a definition to something, you can't measure it, right? And if you cannot properly measure something, you cannot properly countermeasure it. And this is the world that women love. So anything in life, look at any woman you're dealing with in life, right? Most women do not like mathematics. Most women do not like anything that assigns clear foundational logic. Most women don't want to touch that. Because like I said, but last week, because on an interpersonal level, once you break shit down on a hardcore foundational level, well, now you are on grounds to get your ass kicked. Right? Because there's no escaping it. Now motherfuckers seeing how shitty you are as a human, right? And women don't want that altercation in life because they're going to get their ass kicked. So their home has to be in, well, maybe I'm this now, maybe I'm that now, maybe my sign is asparagus, I don't know. But as long as she can keep that going, she can evade logic. What's up? Tetsuko? I hope I pronounced that right. Oh yeah, let's keep going.
To me before. So
Yeah.
you can't control, but a girl half my age who has not had the experiences I have, in general, might be easier to play those types of games with. And men get off on that because in general, narcissistic people, it's a lot more prevalent in men than it is in women. You know, it really, it's an actual fact.
So let me well, I'll tackle both of those. I'm gonna choose someone younger because one, I'm naturally attracted to that.
Older
No,
girl has no value?
no, not only that.
Because that's
One-
basically what I'm hearing.
No, not only that. Would you prefer a 5'2" guy that makes $30,000 a year, or a 6'4" guy that makes $200,000 a year?
It's not so much about the height for me. It's really about
No, just answer the question. Which one would you prefer?
because
Say
I
if
don't-
everything was equal. So they treat you well, they got a good vibe. You know, you read their cards, you did the
so
tarot
short
cards
guy
on them.
is broke and the tall guy is not, is what you're saying.
So it's two guys.
Uh-huh.
Tall guy, 6'4",
Uh-huh.
$200,000 a year.
Uh-huh.
Short guy, 5'4", $30,000 a year. They both treat you nice,
Uh-huh.
and the tarot cards that you did on them is
I
good.
will answer it
Yes.
by telling you my ex-husband is the same height as me. Made absolutely, when I met him, he was making $9 an hour. Okay?
Yeah.
I lived 15 years with that man and had 2 children with him. So I did that
And
already.
okay, so you did that, and it didn't work.
Because it turns out he was just as narcissistic as everyone else.
Okay, cool. So
After him, because I'm like super short.
So, yeah,
I
so-
usually get hit up by dudes that are really tall.
yeah, so pretty much, if I'll answer the question for you, you would choose the guy, if everything is equal, you're going to just choose the guy that has the physical structure that it seems like he can protect and provide for you, because that's what tall men and have money, that's what women are naturally attracted to. It's in your biology.
Let me ask you
Go
a
ahead.
question. I'm sorry to interrupt you. But
you're
then
fine.
why is it that one ex of mine is 30 years old? Another one he probably, I haven't messed around with him in years, probably 5 years. He's probably close to 30 now. He was 23 when I was with him, and I was about 40
Yeah.
or 42 or something.
What? So how did she just go from older men want to manipulate younger women, but now she's here literally just admitted that she was fucking a 23-year-old when she was 40. You see this? You see this? Did you just catch that? Let's listen to that again.
I haven't messed around with him in years, probably 5 years. He's probably close to 30 now. He was 23 when I was with him, and I was about 40.
Yeah.
She was 20. They're dingbats. Don't be mad at them. Just realize how they're fucking dingbats. Fucking creep. They're dingbats. They're fucking dingbats, dude. Like, they're fucking dingbats. I'm surprised he can sit there and keep a straight face this long. I made it about, 6 minutes in? Well, I do this as a legit profession, so I got a little more practice. Jiminy fucking Christmas. Are you fucking serious right now? Is it true that it's more likely to be North? Here's the thing. Limon, I hope I pronounced that right. This is another reason why a lot of these statistics are pseudoscience, because women will just literally lie. Women will do anything to feel like they're fitting in with a better with what society deems a better quality woman, right? Women are just going to lie. They're just going to manipulate their way out of being seen negatively, right? A decent amount of them will just do that, right? So there's no way of knowing. From my experience, okay, just from basic studies of just seeing online dating apps and just, oh no, women are okay. When you take into account family courts, the willingness to break up families, the willingness to destroy a child's upbringing, the willingness to destroy another man's life, all because she just wants her nails and hair done and free rent. When you factor in all this, women are by far worse. Women are by far just genuinely worse humans. There's just no escaping it, right? And I'm not saying this to be angry at women. This is just the reality. When you seriously break down any and every statistic, right? As far as taking into account human growth. Human growth and development, women are, but there's no reason to keep them existing, right? Outside of giving birth, right? Literally every other facet of life, they are lesser than man, right? And it's fucked up to say it, right? But it's the reality of it. You can't. there's no argument to be had, right? But no. Okay, so here's the thing. So as a narcissist, this is more likely to be a narcissist. Okay, so this is another basic logic thing that I'll throw out there, right? So let's say a man meets a woman, right? And let's say in another relationship, a woman meets a man, right? So most women are not going to be genuinely likable. And what women think is being genuinely likable is smiling and is going like this. Oh, oh, ah. That is woman's definition of being likable, because most women do not know how to keep any interesting conversation going with genuine logic or facts. Most women are not going to be genuinely interesting for many other reasons outside of just looking cute and you just wanting to fuck them, right? That's where majority of them are going to max out at, and after that it's just doing this until she gets back to that. And that is the extent of her likableness, right? That's the extent of it. So when a man gets with a woman, it's really the man's duty to turn her into being something that's likable, right? A man can make a woman, right? A man can make a proper woman, but on the other side, women do not make a proper man. They don't do it. Statistically speaking, it would be a miracle for a woman to make a proper man, whereas a man can make a proper woman. A man who's never raised a daughter or nothing like that can go get with a piece of shit woman and turn her into a likable, decent woman and citizen on earth, right? Whereas women don't go that route. No, because she don't care nothing about that, right? Woman only cares about what she wants, and she always looking up, right? She's never doing that, right? So again, as a man, you can go out there and turn, like I think Patrice O'Neal had his example about the king and queen system. The king could go out there and marry a bum-ass woman and make her a queen, make her the highest potential, make her the most highest respected position that she can ever gain in her life. By being the bum woman who married the king, right? But you flip it around. You take that queen out there and go marry the head accountant of Costco. He ain't even got to be a bum dude. Ain't nobody is gonna respect him. Everybody's walking around about, yeah, he just married the queen, right? That motherfucker ain't shit. Everybody just pulling this shit like all through the castle. Yeah, he ain't shit, right? Yeah, man, he just married that bitch. She don't even like him like that. Everybody's talking shit about him. She don't even like him like that because now everybody talking shit about him. Again, as a man, you make a woman. Woman does not make a man. It doesn't work that way.
Yeah.
Or 42 or something like that. Almost, even the father of my children is 3 years younger than me. Like I've always been, it seems like the older I get, the sexier I get to men.
Yeah, so it seems like the older you get, you attract younger guys.
Yes.
Okay.
I always have.
Niggas only hit 18 to 50.
Is that I have a low market value. And
Sexual market value.
that's what you basically are saying. So that's really hella insulting, number one.
It's not insulting.
Yes, it is. Number two, I don't think that that's the way it works. The truth is, a woman at my age is at her sexual peak, not a woman at her age. A woman, once...
To a man? Diana,
that's why women my age, and then a guy who's younger, around 18 or 19, I think, is when a guy hits his sexual peak. A woman...
I understand what you're saying for a woman's standpoint. Yeah, Diana, but look, when men view women, how men view women, you're not at your sexual peak when you're 46. You're at your sexual peak when you're younger and you can give me kids. So,
but biologically, scientifically...
Biologically, what I'm letting you know, biologically of what men, I'm speaking about the man here, right? Because this is the angle the confusion that's happening. So I'm speaking about male nature. And male nature is in our biology to just be attracted to young, fertile women that could give us babies, youth, and experience, because then we could show them the world. That's just what we're naturally attracted to. So it's not an insult. I'm literally just giving you the reality on how the male mind works. You said that men tend to have more traits when it
Yeah,
comes to
typically,
narcissism. That's what you think?
Typically,
Go ahead,
men
you can give
tend
me
to
a
be
rundown.
more have a lot more narcissistic. They tend to be more narcissistic than women are. A woman will be narcissistic, and you'll notice it in a different way than you will in a man. In a woman, she'll be jealous of her children. She will. Narcissistic people are very, very competitive. It's just harder to. It's because men have that.
Okay, so let's use her definition of narcissistic people are very competitive, right? Let's roll with that. Let's roll with her actual definition of her inner workings of narcissistic people. Narcissistic people in patriarchy is basic bitch, hot buzzwords, right? Because she doesn't know what the fuck she's talking about. So, but let's roll with her definition of it. Very competitive, right? So competitive, right? So when you look at women will draw on their face for 3 hours, get whatever surgery they can on their nose, on their cheeks, get Botox in their eyebrows and their cheeks, their face cheeks, ass cheeks, anything. They will cut their fucking bodies open to compete with other women just because of what they look like. Right? This is what women will do. Women will inject their ass cheeks with Fix-A-Flat if it means getting more attention for it. Will man do that? You have some here or there that'll do it, but nowhere near the amount that women will do it. You're just drawing on their face on a whole. How many men go sit in the mirror and draw on their face for an hour before they go outside? How many men gonna curl up their eyebrows, paint their curl up their eyelashes? They gonna do all this, touch the cornea of their fucking eye to get anything to make their eyes look bigger and better. So who's really competitive in all this shit? Based off her description of narcissist.
That sort of toxic masculinity ideal. And
Whoa, you believe in toxic masculinity?
A lot of that plays into this sort of idea, because the narcissistic man, he needs to be head and to be in charge and be in control.
Well, let me ask you real quick. Do you want a guy that's, confident and a leader and in charge?
I don't want a narcissist.
Well, do you want that?
I don't need him to lead me. I need him to walk beside me.
Okay, so you don't want a leader?
No, I don't need you to lead me anywhere. We could lead each other.
Okay, we'll speak about that too. Can you rate yourself from 1 to 10?
Okay, like physically, mentally, like.
Just rate yourself from 1 to 10.
I
What would you say?
that I'm like a 7.
Okay. What would you say?
I agree, probably like a 6 or 7.
Okay, and what would you say?
I wouldn't rate myself like
You won't
that.
rate yourself. Okay, just, that's fine. She doesn't have to.
Have to?
She,
It depends on what. Like, when it comes to cooking, I'm probably a 10 and a
let's
half.
just go with looks. Let's just go with looks, actually looks. What would you rate yourself from 1 to 10?
Wait, then I changed my answer to a 5.
Like, maybe
Can you not cook?
an 8 or something.
Okay. All right. So let's.
Beyonce being 10?
No, let's go. All right. So look. So this was.
But it's okay to like yourself.
No.
That doesn't make you a narcissistic person.
We're gonna go through it, right? So you said 7. 7. So you gotta think about 1 to 10. 5 is average. 5 is a good-looking person. Like if you're a 5, let's just be clear. 5 is average. You're a good-looking person. 4 is like, all right, you're not so good-looking. So you said 7. You said 5, and you said 8. So if we're speaking about narcissism, right? Because this podcast is called No Fugazi, so we got to keep it real. So it's thinking highly of oneself. Now, we're not even going to talk about the ladies on the panel. We're going to let them rock because you guys just see them all rate themselves. But we're going to talk in general. Now, in general, everyone knows girl tends, it's music, it's in the music videos, it's in the lyrics that these girls talk about. Oh, yeah, I'm a 10. I got a fat this. Girls always tend to rate themselves 8s or 10s if we're speaking in general.
I talk a lot about narcissism on my TikTok page because I was raised by one. I was married to one. I've known a lot of them, almost one after the other. The one thing is, it's you never see it coming, whether it be male or female. Like I said, in a female, it manifests a little bit differently than it does in a man. In a guy, there's always the love bombing. He'll text you every hour. He'll text you all the time. He'll text you what he had for dinner. He'll text you when he took a shit.
Well, that's when he's trying to get the
way
box.
But
Like, guys-
but in speaking from talking about my experiences with a narcissist.
Yeah.
They start out that way, the way everyone else does, but they come on a little strong. They come on really heavy-handed with complimenting you, okay? With telling you you're beautiful, you're perfect, we vibe together so well. I feel like we just really connect.
So-
on the first date, they'll take you out probably somewhere expensive. One guy took me to a casino and he paid for the whole thing. And
Then the second date, he ain't really flex like
no,
that.
he said at the end of the day, he said, "I love you," and that's when I knew.
Yeah, and but yeah, because women are made to be bought. Yes, and that's why she fell for it, hook, line, and sinker. Because because they're literally they're made to be bought. You know what I mean? This is why. Because the ego in them is so pathetic. Is hook, line, and sinker shit. Like, okay. This just came up, actually, one in the Prague Facebook group, right? See, men who have been around the world, especially men who've been around the world, like, we know, right? Like, if a woman is too nice up front, something is wrong, right? This is a scam, right? It's pretty, and the prettier she is, the more of a chance of a scam this is going to be. See, men, we can get over our own ego. We can get over our ego a whole lot quicker, right? Because for the simple fact of realizing the reality of our worth and position in the world, right? But see, woman, she doesn't because see, woman, her ego needs that. She needs to feel like she's the one special woman on earth, and she's better than all them other bitches, girl. She better than all them other ones. She needs that. See, she needs it to feel better about herself. Like I said, as the women sitting there on the couch right now, right? There is no value within themselves, right? You have to understand this about bitches, right? The women sitting on this couch right there is no value within them. Now, of course, they'll pretend while they're on camera. Oh, I'm not, girl, I'm just, she'll do all that on camera. But see, behind the scenes, she's calling therapists like me or other people crying because she's worthless, right? See, you don't see that part. You not on them phone calls and shit. She's keeping that part hidden, right? These women, right, there is no value within them. What gives woman value is everything external. Woman is the prime consumer of life, in life, right? With the woman, there is no value within her. Everything valuable about a woman comes from outside of her. Now, men, we start out with it on the opposite. We think that the materials give us value until we finally get them, and then we see like, oh yeah, maybe yeah, this is just another TV. This is just another laptop. It's 500 million more of them, and we can grow out of it. Whereas woman, she can't grow out of it. Right? She can't grow out of it, right? And it comes down like, I see even something as basic as coming, right? Like a guy, you can just see a woman's naked body and come to it, right? Whereas on the flip side, a woman is not coming by seeing the naked woman's body or naked man's body. She can't just come by just rubbing something and looking like anywhere near as efficiently as, as men do by like, say, pornography. Like they don't get off to the same things in pornography at all. Nowhere near close to the same shit, right? And if they are, it's because they're just mimicking whatever they think men like, right? Because they don't get women. They don't get most women naturally do not get the whole why a woman's figure and shape is better than the other ones. Like they don't know, right? They're just adopting what they think men are agreeing on and running with that. Again, these women, there is nothing of internal value in them. Their value is what they can amass outside of them, and their mentality is so pathetic, for lack of better words, that they never grow out of it. And the sad part of watching this play out, right? This is the real sad part. Especially when bitches start getting older, like the 46-year-old, and when she wants to date a guy, she's dating and she's trying to like carry herself like she's like this dainty little like this brand new. She's trying to like walk. Bitch, you old. Stop trying to act like you this fragile little butterfly. But that's the sad part with older wrinkle faced bitches and shit like that. That's the sad part because they still trying to go back to that bread and butter of all this shit. I mean, and it just looks pathetic. Unless the guy's just super horny and doesn't care anymore. That's the only reason why she's getting away with it. It's pathetic. Yeah, let's keep this going.
He was a narcissist. Like, that's the one thing that they do. Like,
So-
they pretend, they build this illusion of what they see that you need, because they're pretty intuitive themselves.
Yeah.
So they're good at sizing people up. Okay, this person, I don't know, likes this and this and this. I'm going to fashion myself to be the person that you want me to be, so that then when you fall in love, then I'll show you who I really am. Then the mask will come down, because secretly I hate myself. So I'm going to put on this facade because I want you to love me. Because if I can get you to love me, it makes me feel good about who I am. Then I can control you, because if I'm a narcissist, that's how I say I love you. For a narcissist, I love you means I control.
Okay, no. Okay. What this dumb bitchinese translates into, because she'll have you believe in this dingbatch. And by the way, I just used it, Rana, the dumb bitchinese. The dumb bitchinese translates, okay, and she knows it, but she may not be aware, but she knows it deep. If she watches it, she'll know what I'm saying is true. With the narcissist, I want to love bomb you, that way you fall in love with me, then I'll show you who I really am. Okay, no. You at 46, either this woman is trying to play into that, trying to get validation from people who don't know how to break anything down and analyze it, or she's genuinely fucking stupid, right? One of the two. So, the reality of how this plays out, okay. A lot of guys will say or do anything if they think it'll get your pussy to be submissive to them, right? Because it's about this for a lot of guys it's about the chase. Maybe not so necessarily just to have sex, but the chase to have the woman chase him back, right? Now, after the guy has gotten you to that point of, loving you and then getting you to fall in love with him, he's done with you. He already got your pussy. He got, for after that month that she stated earlier, he's already got her pussy. Now he's got her attention. He's done. And this is why I try to tell guys in here all the time. For one reason or another, there's only one person in love, right? For one reason or another. Only one person is usually in love. And the other person is just kind of at the end of the road for whatever reason. They just going, it's not a bad deal, right? But in a relationship, it's only one person who's, most of the time, who's seriously in love, right? And the brutal part is to realize if that person is you. You know what I mean? That's the brutal part that can hurt, is if it's you or not, right? But one person is always in love, and the other person is just looking at it going, I could do worse. And so they're just like, fuck it, I'll stay here.
Yeah, so I would totally,
Male or female, they are.
Yeah, male or female.
They'll fashion
what's it
themselves
say?
out to
Clint
be
Eastwood,
the type of person that.
AD, what's it say? At Black Panther. That's what I was referring to. Oh, I see. Okay, so let me read up Black Panthers. So he's Black Panthers at Clint Eastwood. I was referring to working with them as leaders and such because I personally found it irritating and tiresome due to their inability to be direct and decisive. Yeah. You don't want to work with a female, you don't want to work for majority female bosses for that reason. Directness and decisiveness, yeah. And on top of that, like women don't know how to just be cool, right? Most women they don't get it. You don't want a woman boss.
you want them to be. Like the guy who took me to the casino, he made himself out to be this, I'm an artist. I've almost always ever been with artists or musicians. So
Yeah.
really, and, he made himself out to be this producer, full-time musician, blah, blah, blah. He was balling like that.
So wait, Diana, let me
But
let me
then
just
when
add in real quick.
I found out he actually lived in his parents' basement, over 40, and didn't have a job. And so
Yeah, Diana, Diana, yeah, let me add a
That's
little.
what he was doing, was building up.
Let me
this-
give you a little game, Diana. So, some of the stuff you said about narcissism that I've read on too, I was just reading the definition there, but some of the stuff is, pretty on point, and then other things is kind of just, I got to give you the reality of that's men. So,
That doesn't.
look,
that-
look,
I don't. I'm
let
not
me
gonna say that
rock
that's
real
men,
quick.
'cause that's a toxic thing.
Great. Do I believe women can handle the truth?
Yes.
I believe you're going to say they can't.
No. Do you believe? I really want to know your answer. Do you believe women can handle the truth?
No.
I think
No.
that women are more sensitive than men, most likely. But I also think that guys probably are just better at hiding it because, like you were saying, like they have to be tough, they have to be strong, they have to go to the gym, they have to, you know what I'm saying? So, I think
Just a yes or no. Do you think
Person
they
to
could?
person.
Well, I'm not speaking about even men. Do you think women can handle the truth
it depends on the person.
in general?
You can't say
In general, out
No
of
in between answer.
yeah, no,
Okay, fine.
no in between answer. We're just speaking about women in general. So if you take a collective of all the women in the world, do you think that they can handle the truth? Whether if they're seeing truth, whether if truth is being spoken to them and they're hearing it, do you think that they can handle the truth? Yes or no? It could be a yes, it could be a no. What do you
Probably
think?
not, I guess. But
Okay.
I hate. I'm sorry, I'm talking so much, but I hate
You're
that
fine.
I don't like that the question was presented in such a simple way because I feel like there is more to
Okay.
it than
Okay. Women. Okay. The reason why she hates it was presented in a simple way is because, again, what? Because it just broke down to direct logic, right? Now she could have not liked it and then elaborate. Okay, and then said no, and then maybe elaborate on it and give her own perspective of it. But even then, it's going to come back down to that core, to the core question. See, women hate direct logic. They hate it because they can't hide in it anymore. Right? Women love to hide. They love to hide their own face, hide their own body. They'll hide everything. Even the ancient Greeks documented women as being fat and cowardly, literally. Right?
that, but
Yeah.
I would probably say no, based on
Okay,
the
no.
parameters of that question.
Yeah, because and I'll get into why you said no, and or even if you said yes, I'll get into that too. But why do you think that women can handle the truth?
When they initially find out the truth, I would say no. But like, after a while, you kind of are just like, okay, like this happened, whatever.
Got you. And what about you, Dan? Do you think that women can, in general speaking, not yourself, I'm sure you can handle truths, but in general.
I'm sorry to have to break this to you, but I can't make a generalization on one gender or another.
That means no. Because this is the same woman who had it. Who this is the same woman where if she knew she can get away with blaming men, she can go on for hours about how men did this and narcissistic and patriarchy. And then you ask her a question that everybody knows the answer to. Well, I can't. I can't do it. See what I'm saying? Like, women can't handle the simple truth because one, okay, a simple statement saying like, yeah, I'm dating you, but I think your sister's prettier. Done. Something simple as that. Because a women's ego, she can't handle it, right? As guys, look, we know somebody gonna look better than us, right? Like I know this. Look. Here's the thing. With me and my girl, she can't handle it, right? My girl cannot handle it because I think I told the story a while back. I was talking about Charlize Theron. I've always had a soft spot for Charlize Theron, right? I've always had a soft spot for her, like. And it's not really because I think she's attractive, but something about like how she just kind of like moves and walks and talks. Like I just assume she's this different type of person, right? I've always had a soft spot for her and Tina Fey, and my girl, she can't handle even if Charlize Theron pops up on like a Netflix screen, like she can't handle it, dude. But here's the thing. Like, I know my girl likes some other dude somewhere. Like, she has to. It's biology. You know what I mean? Like, I know like my girl has been fucked by some other dude before, by some other dudes before me, right? For all I know, she probably did some porn. All right, I don't know, right? There's no way for me to know, for sure, right? Especially in Czech Republic. She probably has done some porn somewhere. I don't know. It could have been sometime I was walking down the street with her and some dude she fucked was walking down the other side. She tried to act like she ain't know him. I'm sure it's happened, right? But what keeps me in control and power over her is the fact that I don't care. I mean, I have my own life and I don't fucking care. And that's another topic I want to get through to men too. Don't be one of these motherfuckers out here interrogating your girl. Don't interrogate her. I stumbled on this. Let me switch. Well, no. I stumbled on this Facebook video, right? Of this dude. He was holding his cell phone up. He was holding his phone up, recording, talking to his wife. The wife must have been mid-40s, but she was a good-looking mid-40s. She was a real good-looking mid-40s. And he's just like interrogating her. Did you have sex with him? Did you sleep with him? Did you suck his dick when he came in? And she goes, yes, I sucked his dick. And he's like interrogating this bitch, right? Interrogating this bitch on recording and put on. And she was dead wrong. I'm not saying she wasn't wrong. She was dead wrong. He was questioning her and she was answering it. And she was dead wrong. But no, but the thing is, he was still losing because he cares. See, and that's the part I want to get through. I don't know how to say word it properly to get through to men. You have to stop caring. That's how you win. See, this interrogating bitches, giving her attention, that's how you lose. Even if you won the logical argument, the fact that you cared that much makes you lose. You got to stop this caring shit. Like what Patrice O'Neal said, men care too much. What keeps me in power over my girl is the fact that I don't care. I am not going through your phone. I'm not going through your Facebook and Insta. I don't give a. She keeps her phone with a passcode on it. I still, in the rare cases where I used her phone, because my phone was probably somewhere else, I still got to ask her for her passcode because I don't know it. And I don't care to know it. But that's what keeps me in power, is the fact that I don't care. Stop caring. Stop caring so much. Have your own life. Have your own anything outside of her. Right? Stop caring so much. But again, like on the back end, I know my girl finds some other dude attractive. It's biology. I'm not the only man on earth. All right? I'm aware of that. I'm not the only man on. She's gonna find a man attractive, right? She's gonna just some dude in a coffee shop somewhere. She done seen in some of us. She went. All right, look, it's biology. But the fact that I don't give a fuck, the fact that I damn near invite her to go do it type of shit, that's what keeps her from doing it, is because she know. Because like I said before, the only time a woman is gonna do something like that is when I don't say the only time, because you never know. But ultimately speaking, the only time that she's gonna ever leave you or do something like that is when she knows you're gonna be heartbroken by it. The only time she's gonna leave you or cheat on you or some shit like that and make it be known, especially make it be known, the only way she's gonna do that is if she knows you gonna be heartbroken. If you ain't gonna be heartbroken when she does it, there ain't no fun in it for her no more after that. It's done. It's no more fun in it. Right? And this test, for me speaking, has never failed. One, probably because I just don't care in the end anyway. And two, is because she can't get any excitement out of it. Because I got into a debate with her a couple of days ago, and I told her, like, look, bitches do not like a direct path. Bitches like going on a ride. They like going on a roller coaster. And I explained this to her. I said, this is why women love IKEA and most men hate IKEA, is because when you walk in IKEA, you lose track of time and space when you go in there, and what day, you don't even know what day it is when you come out of IKEA, because you can't make any logic out of it. This is why women, from poor women to women coming up in there with Volvos, all these women can go into IKEA and unite. Right? See, there's a reason for that. It was because bitches don't like direct logic. And IKEA is literally the opposite of direct logic when you walk in there. You're going to walk in there and you go, what? How do I get out of this place? Did I come in over there? Over, I don't know. Do I go upstairs to get out? Where do I go? This is why women love it. And it stretches from all the socioeconomic classes of bitches. They love it. It's heaven to them. It's fucking heaven. And this is why every man is like looking for the first exit he can find out that shit. Like, how do I get out of y'all? Bitches love it. They love IKEA.
I can't speak for every single woman, so I refuse
Just
to
your
put
opinion.
women into this box that you seem to be wanting to put them in. I will say that it's very individual. I think individually, it would
Okay,
be
so
harder
if
for
you
a
don't want to
younger
answer the question,
female to handle truths where an older woman
probably
probably
can. Okay, got you. So, just
No, the older
can
woman
you
can't.
handle the truth?
The older woman can't. The older woman can't. She just knows how to hide it better to try to save her face in the argument. No, she still can't handle it either. She can't handle it either. She's still mad. Again, I'm not mad because I already know I'm not the only dick walking down the street in Prague. I already know my girl's seen somebody else and was like, "Ooh, I wish I had one dude like him right now." I already know it, but I don't give a fuck. Like, I don't care. Just look. I'm not going to hound whoever I think it is. No, I don't give a fuck about none of that shit. Just don't. Okay, I don't spend much money anyway. Just don't spend my money on the motherfucker and shit like that. And just stay out. Just look. Like what Al Bundy said. Y'all remember the episode of Al of Married with Children? Remember that episode of Married with Children where Peggy was cheating with the dude. He was cheating with this dude's husband. It was a gay couple, right? And Peggy was going out it was a dude who voices Homer Simpson, for just context. Peggy had been cheating with the gay dude's husband, right? And Al didn't give a fuck. And so the gay husband said, "Well, Al, your wife's out with my husband." And Al goes, "Well, let the punishment fit the crime." His immediate. It was the best shit ever. He said, "Let the punishment fit the crime." And so when he finally came to the he caught him dancing, right? Peggy, his wife with the gay dude's husband in the bar. He said, "Look, I don't care if you cheating on her. Look." But that's how you do it, man. Don't give a fuck. Like, see, is this caring is what fucks you up, man. It's the caring. It's the caring is what fucks guys up. See, it's that caring and then get engaged and see that caring and engage makes her the leader. See, as long as you don't care and get engaged, then she's always gonna be following in some way. Even when she's acting like she's not following, she's still following. She's just getting quiet and going to one of her female friends or therapists or somebody and talking about you for the next hour, right? But she still cares. You know what I mean? Stop this caring shit has to go. I'm gonna cut it off right there. I'm gonna switch it to me and read a few comments, get off here. But it's the caring shit, man. You gotta stop this caring, getting in the fights over. Don't ever get into a fight, man. Like over a bitch. I would say never do it because you never know where this shit originated from. The issue came from. Never fight for a woman. Never fight over a woman. Don't do none of that. Right? Just don't. Just don't do it. The opposite of Nike, motherfucker. Don't do it. Never do it. Make a Bizarro Land Nike ad. Don't do it. You just be Bizarro. This caring shit, man. That's what, man. That shit fucks up so many dudes, man. Like, don't fucking. Just don't do it, man. Like, it's even now with my son. Look. I'm gonna be real with you. With my son right now. Like, I care about him, but look, I don't expect her to ever come back tomorrow. Like, that just ain't part of my daily routine. You know what I mean? Like, that's just how I operate. Now, she texts me every morning, good morning, and whatever. If she's not here, text me, or if she's here, she be up with the baby and then cook breakfast with the baby in her hand, right? Like, but I never expect her to be here. I never expect her to do anything. I've never once told her to cook breakfast. I've never once told her to do laundry. I've never told her to sweep and mop the floor. She vacuumed this whole rug in here. I've never told her to do anything. There has not been one time I've told her to hang up clothes, none of that. Not one time. Not a one time. Not once. Now okay, now in a way you can say it, because she makes cauliflower soup, and her cauliflower soup is amazing. And I would have never thought I would have ever said that about cauliflower soup, but her cauliflower soup is amazing. So I asked her to make that sometimes, but she was already gonna cook anyway, right? I never like went out my way to ask her to go. You know what I mean? When we weren't even talking about cooking. But you can say that. I'll go ahead and just accept that as one time. But Element, I can imagine AD just mind his own business while watching a man and a woman fight. Oh yeah. Don't fight. Don't ever fight for no woman, man, because you don't know where that shit originated from, right? And again, it's that thing. Like I said before, with the social status and women know who they want to be around and who they don't want to be around. They know who's going to be a certain way, who's not going to be a certain way. Like with that 46-year-old woman just said on that video, talking about men want to manipulate a 23-year-old because they can manipulate them and they can't manipulate me because I'm 46. Look, when that woman was 23, she was manipulating 43-year-old men. Okay? And again, I dare her to challenge me on that. I would dare her to challenge me on that. Because I bet you I have her explaining all this shit in a live stream. I would bet $1,000 to a penny. She was manipulating all types of men when she was 18, 19, 20, 21, 20, and fucking fucking half of them, right? But because all them girls at 20 do that shit. They just don't want to tell anybody they did it, right? Because Beyonce didn't make it popular yet. And once Beyonce make it popular, then it's okay. Then they gotta all do it. Like Miley Cyrus and twerking. Y'all remember that? When Miley Cyrus twerked for the first time, then now it was okay for white bitches did not twerk. But this is that woman hive mind shit. White bitches did not twerk until Miley Cyrus twerked. Then all of a sudden it was okay. Now white bitches walk around with they apple bottom jeans on and shit. They want you to see the curves in their butt now. But before Miley Cyrus did that, no, white women didn't walk around like that. White women never do. If they did, they was like the rare weird one to have the tight pants where you can see the curves in their ass and all that. But it's that hive mentality. They don't have independent thought. AD, have you heard about the police woman who got smashed by her coworkers and suing the city claiming she was groomed for sexual exploitation? Yeah, that's always the immediate escape out. Somebody tricked her into doing it. Yeah, some big evil man tricked her into doing it. I'm sure. Yeah, yeah. Like I said, yeah, that's always the immediate way. That's always the God bless America routine. Yeah. Because it's not, if they could just say that, then if you say anything against it, well, you must advocate sexual abuse now. If you say anything against her ridiculous claim on this, now then you must automatically advocate sexual abuse. Yeah, like the God bless America routine. If you say anything after God bless America that doesn't worship America, then you must absolutely hate America and you're a terrorist now. It's not as stank when they twerk. They made classes and businesses out of it. Oh yeah. Yeah. Oh yeah, it's like a stripper pole. It's like they'll have a whole classes with stripper poles now. Well, that's old, but yeah, it's a business. Yeah, I still remember that when she twerked. And it was okay for white women to have bodies now. Well, certain classes of white women, because if you get to the two poshy groups, the poshy white bitches, the poshy white bitches, they ain't trying to look like that. They trying to be as skinny as humanly possible. And if they can, they'll wear a size extra small, and she trying to make that look baggy. That's still the currency in those like super poshy groups of white bitches. But the lower down white bitches, that's kind of they can maneuver with that. There's also a 31-year-old teacher that got pregnant with her 13. Yo, yeah. I did see that earlier today. I meant to talk about that. She got pregnant with her 13-year-old student. Yeah, that's ridiculous. Some of these comments are showing like I'm looking at. So some comments are showing on my Streamlabs YouTube, but they're not showing up on actual YouTube. And some of them are showing in the Streamlabs chat and not showing up here. So yeah. Because I'm seeing different ones. Because like, yeah. Okay, here's Platypus Dreams right here. Says now she's mad she can't control a 23-year-old. AD, is there any way to contact you for personal advice in dating and relationships? I'm willing to pay, of course. Yes, Sebastian, you can email me or you can email me. My email address is AustriaDick69@gmail.com. Or you can it should be a link. I think there's a link. It should be a link in the description. Let me see. Because I got it up on the TV. I've been meaning to show you guys my setup, and I keep forgetting to. Did I put it? I didn't put a. Oh, there's the PayPal. I thought I was putting the Shit, I gotta go and fix that YouTube thing. I gotta put the email in the description. I thought I was putting that in there. But yeah, my email is AustriaDick69@gmail.com, and just say hey, what's up? It's me from the live chat, and just yeah. But yeah. I'm definitely down to do that, man. Thursday for me is gonna be tomorrow is gonna be extremely busy, like all day for me. So tomorrow is just a definite no go. But Thursday I should be free most of the day. Friday I think I got like 2 or 3 appointments, and then it's all weekend I should be good. So pretty much tomorrow is just gonna be like the absolute day. That's just like there's absolutely no chance tomorrow. Thank you. I got your mail. I sent you a couple questions back on your 2020 quarantine live streams. You've helped me so much, man. I will contact you again, definitely. Okay, cool, Sebastian. Cool. She's not doing any time in. Yeah, Black Panther. The woman who fucked the 13-year-old kid. Oh no, she ain't doing time in prison. Because guess what? The 13-year-old he beat her up. He beat her up and raped her. That's what happened. That's what's gonna happen. He beat her. It wasn't her fault at all. No. Not her fault at all. She didn't do anything wrong. It's men. It's the 13-year-old who needs to control his urges. That's what it's gonna be. I think I live pretty close to the police station. Not sure about the Sims. To just know about the story. She's hoping for people, especially Sims, to buy her story. Yeah, Javi. Yeah. She's because that's okay. It's the same thing with the Andrew Tate thing of why motherfuckers hate the dude. Like, yeah, it's the same thing with situations like this. She knows that if she just says anything that can sound like it was the man's fault, there's gonna be men who think they're gonna get extra pussy points. And then the women who are mad at men that can just hop on that bandwagon and get that and get it moving, right? And to this day, I'm still surprised Amber Heard lost. I'm still surprised at that. Like that was truly something shocking from up to the very end. Because I just as a white woman in North America, that should have been a guaranteed win. Just to be white woman in America. That's all the proof and evidence you need. How you fuck that up? So if she got in trouble, she did something. They must have called some other evidence they didn't put on TV and on YouTube. Because out of all the evidence I seen, and then you look at the defendant and the plaintiff. I'm like, Amber Heard got this. She still got this. I was low key team Amber Heard all the way, because I know how America is with bitches. I was team Amber Heard by default because of North American culture. Not because I really believe that she was innocent or nothing like that, but because I know how the world, she automatically, from a scale from 0 to 10, being 10 being the most innocent you can be, Amber Heard, just because she just a white woman, she immediately walked in the room with I say 9.5 level innocence. Right? Just because she just walked in the room and was just white bitch, like she's automatically completely innocent, right? Y'all remember this one show real quick? You remember this one show? It wasn't a show; it was a YouTube channel, and they used to do these kind of like mock broadcasts. And it was a white woman who went to court for murder, but it was a comedy skit. And in the skit, it went we're outraged because this white woman charged with murder is going to be tried as a 35-year-old black man. And said, this is just unconstitutional. We can't do that. But it was a comedy skit. It wasn't real, but it was funny, like, because the reality of it. Because they was going to try her as a 35-year-old African American man. He said, this just isn't fair. She has to be tried as a white woman. But no, yeah. That yeah, with that shit, man, with that copy, yeah, that's just guaranteed. Like, I'm surprised she didn't lead off with that. She probably tried to. I'm surprised it didn't full on lead with that. With the whole, oh yeah, they must have raped her or something. Yeah. But you know what though, for real, it's sad that I'm able to sit up and laugh about that, because that's how pathetic the West has become. The fact that I don't believe you now, like that's fucked up. Like, the fact that I can sit up and laugh because North America is so fucked up to where I will laugh off a rape accusation. That shows the how ridiculous the system is towards women, with women in America. Because rape is not funny, okay? There's nothing funny about that shit. But the fact that my immediate reaction is to laugh it off, like, that's fucked up. And I completely own that shit. That's totally fucked up. But that's where the American system has brought massive the immediate fucking condemnation of men. This is where it is now. It's fucked up. Oh, do you have to watch MILF Manor? It's these moms and they have to date young men, and the men turn out to be their sons. Like another mom's son or something. I thought Johnny was done. Yeah, me too, Clint Eastwood. I thought he was fucking. There was nothing in that said that he had a chance of winning in my book. Going against a young white woman, a young kind of, well, she was looking older in them clips, but a youngish white woman celebrity, that should have been an easy win. That should have been a fucking layup by Yao Ming, you know what I mean? Like, you can't miss that. Look at the rims right there, just bloop. How'd you miss that, Amber? How'd you fuck that up? Look, if Amber Heard fucked that up as a white woman in the American legal system, I don't want her nowhere near me. You stay the fuck away from me. Because whatever she getting ready to touch is getting ready to be fucked up. All right, if she fucked that was literally a layup by Yao Ming, son. Oh, he ain't gotta jump. You just hold the ball up to the rim and drop that motherfucker in there, and this motherfucker airballed that shit. How do you airball a layup being fucking 9 foot 15 inches tall? You can't fuck that up, and you still fucked it up, right? That's an easy win, Amber. You couldn't, like, you fucked up. You can't say anything. There is literally no comeback. If she did something so wrong that there is literally no chance of her coming back and appealing in court at all, she did something real bad. This is what I'm saying. See, there's a reason why there's very few women prisons in the United States. See, there's a reason why, because women can get away with murder. So if this bitch got caught, she probably killed somebody and they just didn't say it on TV, if I had to guess. She probably done killed a few people, and with stone cold evidence, on top of doing all that to Johnny Depp and ruining his career. It was more to that story. I don't believe it was just Johnny Depp, you know what I mean, and he lost the Pirates of the Caribbean and she was taking a shit in the bed. I think it was a lot more of that story than that. They just didn't want to destroy her reputation even more, because that's white woman. She gets away with anything she feels like in America. It's their sons, but oh, they date the other women's sons. Okay, I see. Do you think Amber Heard might be a canary in a coal mine for feminism moving forward? As in things might start shifting more in favor of men. Well, yeah, Black Panther, because I've noticed, or maybe I'm just trying to notice it, but more men were able to stand up and call women out on doing stupid shit. Okay, like for example, y'all remember, was it Joey Swole or whatever that dude's name is, who been roasting that bitch for trying to get the what we call reckless eyeballing in the gym. And the bitch ended up getting roasted, and everybody let her ass have it for that shit. See, that this time 2 years ago, nobody would have questioned that. This time 10 years ago, that little bitch would I think I did a video on her, or a live stream on her. And she tried to set her phone up and tried to say the dude was looking at her type of shit. This time 2 years ago, nobody would have questioned it. She would have got away with that, and everybody would have got on the dude for it. And as a man, if you had stood up and said anything along the lines of that bitch is tripping, motherfuckers would have pounced on you, right? But after that Amber Heard shit, motherfuckers was like, oh no, yeah, she was tripping, blah 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 blah, and now she run around apologizing and all that goofy shit like that. Now, yeah, this time 2 years ago, no, this time 2 years ago, she would have got completely away with it. Nobody would have questioned it. That just would have been it. And they would have roasted him. He would have lost the dude. Motherfuckers would have found out his first and last name, his address. He'd have lost his job. He'd have had to move out of his apartment. He'd have had to get a new car, all type of shit. See, that Amber Heard scenario, no matter what the fuck, the fact that she lost, it gave people, I think it gave men the hope to be able to at least call women out on bullshit, right? Now, it's still got a little ways to go for sure, because motherfuckers, especially in America, because motherfuckers, for multiple reasons, still has a ways to go. But I think it was definitely, that was, relatively speaking, the initiator in calling bitches out, right? It was definitely the initiator for sure. Reckless eyeballing. Yeah, reckless eyeballing. Reckless eyeballing was what they call when blacks in the South, when they were free, reckless eyeballing was when they would look at white women. If you got caught looking at a white woman, that was a crime. After slavery in North America was over, and the crime was, I'm pretty sure it was called reckless. Let me see, reckless eyeballing. Oh, you can't see. Hang on, let me. So let me switch it. Oh wait, wait a minute. Scene. Go to scene. Here we are. Reckless eyeballing. Did I spell it wrong? Okay, they must have. Okay, reckless eyeballing was. Let me see. Law in America. I'm trying to find. Yeah, this isn't showing an actual definition. But reckless eyeballing was when. Hang on. Here it is. Well, this is pretty much it. Yeah, where it says there was a law where black people couldn't look at white people in the eye, or if you got caught looking at a white woman, that was a crime. And it was not long after slavery had ended. But I don't know what's going on with this website. Why it's taking so long? I don't know why it's taking so long. But yeah, this is the general gist. Yeah, there are laws which prohibited blacks to look at white people in the eye, and black person could be sent to jail for assault, reckless eyeballing. That's generally the that you know what's weird though is that white it shouldn't have been. Is this Google's way of trying to hide? Yeah, are they trying to hide what the fuck happened in slavery back in American slavery? Because it shouldn't have been. Reckless eyeballing should not be that hard to find in Google, like at all. This absolutely should not be nowhere near this difficult. I think they're trying to like hide this shit because this should not be difficult at all to find. But yeah, that's a ridiculous law. But hey, it's what this country does. A woman will despise and play with a man who is not able to see through her nature and her BS. She will respect the dude that can see through his. Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, that's the thing. Like if you see through it, some of it depends on the kind of day she's having. But if you see through it and you deal with it properly, she's gonna either love you or she's gonna hate you. And that's the extremes when you deal with logic, right? When you deal with any form of logic, especially like social interpersonal logic, motherfuckers are either gonna grow to love you or they're gonna grow to hate you, right? And it's played out different ways for sure. Like some women they'll grow to hate me, or some women will grow to love me for in on the back or might flip in the back end. Usually when it flips towards love in the back end. But no, there's been times where women will definitely hate me for it, or close women, some family members. It happens. I mean, like just woman's whole nature. Like it happens. I was gonna tell a story, but I was a little too close to home. I don't put their business out on the street. But let's just say this: there's an older woman I know who she's sitting up. She's in her early 60s, and she's sitting up waiting for Prince Charming to still come pick her up now, and she's still working at like in her early 60s because she has to work, right? And she's still sitting around waiting for Prince Charming to come now. So if I could, so if I say it. I mean, she tries to write it off. She's gonna try to write it off like it's a joke and all that. But I'm dead serious. Like you too old. You know what I mean? Like I remember I was fucking this one single mother of like 3 kids. She's a Czech girl, but she was like, but you couldn't tell. I'm telling you, you could not tell she had 3. She's one of those. You could not tell she had 3 kids at all. She's a Czech girl, and I remember after we would fuck, I would say, "Si stali." So "si stali" means you're old. And she goes, "Nissim stali." You're like, "No, I'm not old." I said, "No, yeah, you old." I would tell you old. I don't even think of this shit when I'm like, in my everyday life until I think about it, I'm talking about it. And how ridiculous that shit must have looked. Well, I just got done spitting in her face and peeing on her, so that's the least of her problems is realizing she's old. Not the problems is if I like did it against her will, but you know what I mean, like that's the least of her extremes of the day is to find out she's old. AD, unrelated question. AD, but are you planning doing any traveling anytime soon? Black Panther, I was just thinking about Japan again because I was watching some some kind of way Japan stumbled into my feed on YouTube, and I was looking into that and hearing other people's stories, and weirdly enough, most of the people they interviewed said that they would not want to live in Japan. I wasn't expecting to hear that. Because of course I've never been, but the little bit that I did see about like Japanese life, their points did kind of align with the little bit of like media that I've seen on Japanese life. It trickles into that north. From what I've seen, from the little bit that I've seen and what the interviewers were saying, it sounds like it's the same dynamic as the UK and America. It's like the richer countries end up diving into that work, nothing's ever good enough, nothing's good enough, work shit, to the point where like there's just no sense of relaxation in life. And that's one area that I will give Czech Republic and I will give a decent amount of Eastern Europe, even though like the locals may not see it this way. But coming from North America, I can still see it even in the working class. Like the working class culture is nowhere near this anxiety driven ridiculousness that America is on, or like these typical richer countries tend to be on. Like it's more laid back. Now, it's just some Czechs can fall into the whole like trying to imitate Germany with it kind of thing. But even Germany, from what I've seen, is even still a bit laid back. It's not the whole like America UK thing where it's like it's this constant push, 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 push. You got to do more, and it's never enough. You know, whatever you do is never good enough, and all this shit like that. But I was thinking about Japan. I was thinking about traveling sometime soon because I was supposed to go to Norway, but that kind of fell apart for multiple reasons. But it might click back on sometime soon because I don't see myself doing what I'm doing right now outside of YouTube. I don't see myself doing this too much longer because I just can't deal with doing this especially with the American female clients. I just can't see myself doing this much longer, especially with the older ones. Like, I just can't see myself. I just like I'm just hurt. At this point, I feel like I'm hurting myself working with them because one, in my opinion, I just have bigger and better interests than to get caught up in that too much. Now the younger girls, I don't have much of an issue working with them because well, the one is kind of an issue, but the other one is more kind of like me. And I don't have an issue working with her. The other one is a little iffy. But especially the older black women, dude, just stay away from older black women, dude. Like, unless they're family or something like that. Like, just the problem. Tell you, with the older black women, the problems that they suffer is like basic shit that fucking 14-year-old kids figure out. Like, and when you're sitting there talking to them, you like in the back of your head, you can't help but to go, like, look. The problem that older black women are going through is shit that literally, like, bitch, turn on SpongeBob. Like, they cover this shit every Tuesday at 8 a.m. on SpongeBob. How did you not figure this out? Like, seriously. Like, the problems that older black women have, this is basic SpongeBob SquarePants dilemmas. Like, why did Susie not come and take the candy? Well, maybe because Susie didn't like you today. Did you think of that? It's like, yo, like, are you that fucking stupid? Like, but it's the older black women. Like, the depth of delusions that older women will go through to avoid the fact that maybe they just may not be likable is fucking deep. Like, it's fucking unbelievable. Like, maybe a motherfucker just doesn't like you right now. It's okay. It's legal for people just to not like you. It's okay. It's fine. Right? It's really shocking. It's shocking. Yo, the older women nowadays, you're so hostile and damaged. Yeah. Passport bro is always a preferred solution for Westers. Yep. I also heard Japan has a lot of the shut-ins called hikimoris. Yeah, I was seeing that too. They covered this on SpongeBob. Yeah, yeah, yeah. A whole lot of issues can be solved by watching a few good episodes of SpongeBob and taking notes. SpongeBob, The Simpsons, Family Guy episodes. Well, Family Guy, okay, here's the thing about Family Guy. Family Guy looks like it's some silly shit, but if you really pay attention to Family Guy, it's actually quite fucking intricate as far as social dynamics go. Some of these shows are actually very, because my uncle, he used to make fun of South Park. Because my uncle, he was one of those like uppity dudes, right? He was a great dude. We used to say all types of racist jokes. He's a black dude. We used to have all types of racist, everybody. Like, we used to roast everybody. Black, white, didn't matter. Like, racist jokes all over the goddamn place. I remember one time, I'm just thinking about this one time. We was at the stoplight, and this rough looking black dude was crossing the street. He was pointing out going, nigger, 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 nigger. Like, why would you say that? He was black. Well, he was like, we used to have all types of fun like that, man. Like this ridiculous shit. Where was I going with this? I forgot where I was going with that. Fuck. Woman damage. I forgot where I was going with that. Oh yeah. And yeah, so he was really into status and class because he was a gay dude. So that just and his type of gay dude was like all for it. Like that's why I always had the newest like TVs or electronics because he would always go out and buy the next newest thing as soon as it came out. So he would just give it to me or sell it to me for like real cheap. So I was like always I had like the LCD TVs, plasma TVs when they like nobody had them, right? Like I was always that dude who always had all like the top technology. Motherfuckers come over my flat and say, "What do you do for a living?" That's the first thing that came out their mouth all the time. My uncle was giving it to me. But he was real into class shit, right? He was real into like wanting to be like, be seen as better in class to the point where he would do some ridiculous shit sometimes. And this is where we would kind of fall out, right? So we would fall out in scenario like for example, he was a board member. I can't remember where this was at. He was always doing something in this area, but this was like something I didn't care for. And he had to go pay his board member fees. I said, "Wait, why?" I said, "Why are you paying board member fees?" He goes, "Well, I work on the board." I said, "Well, if you work, why are you paying to work somewhere?" And he just looked at me with this like one of them gay evil scowls. Like you remember with Prince? That's what he did. I remember he looked at me and he just went. But we used to fall out about that because here's the thing, because I always had the type of personality where there's a good chance like I can persuade people in a room and talk to people and get people going and talking like that. I've always been good with that. But where we would fall apart was I didn't play that class shit. I didn't play any of that, right? Oh shit, I missed it. I didn't do that. I didn't play that class game. So like if somebody thought they was better than somebody because the job they had or something like that, that's where me and him would fall out and wouldn't talk to each other for a while, right? Because I just thought it was just I was never one into that. Like for any I just didn't care. All right. But he was a good dude. He randomly died, like out of nowhere. I still remember that. If it wasn't for him, I would have never got this Czech Republic shit started because he had to go get my apostle birth certificate from Columbus. And if it wasn't for him getting that, I would have never stayed in Europe. So he was really the main thing that kept all this going. Me being here right now. I mean, he just got randomly super sick and just like passed out one day, and they took him to the doctor. Took him to urgent care. And that was it. My friend from college was like that. Yeah, you meet a lot of those in there too. Yeah, like I got one older friend of mine. He was a real good dude, man, but he would do some creepy shit from time to time. Like, because he was really into Warren Buffett, and he used to take pictures standing outside of Warren Buffett's house. And I'm like, yo, does W know you did that? Does WB know you did that? You just walking outside of his house taking pictures. Like, smiling, like as if it's Mount Rushmore or some shit. Like, this motherfucker's in there taking the shit. Leave that man alone. He up there with his backpack. I feel sorry for Warren Buffett. And I've been stumbling on his speeches too lately. And he's that definition, like okay, like me and my uncle, right? And Warren Buffett is like more like a me type of dude, right? What I've never had anywhere near that much money, but it's the same theory. Whereas it's said that there's two different types of people that come with money, right? One type of person, once they get what they were pretty much, after in life, they don't care anymore, and they're willing to give it out for free to all the other people, right? They've accomplished it in life, and it's over. And the other person is the type of guy, it's never going to be enough. No matter what you give him, it's never going to be enough. He's going to keep going and keep going, keep going. There's usually going to be two different types of people in the world, like whether it's money or getting women or whatever. Like they're usually going to go one of those two routes. Either they're going to get it and they'll realize it and they'll give it away for free, to anybody else, or it's never going to be enough and they'll just keep going, keep going, keep going. And and I seen a Warren Buffett interview where he was like, yeah, I don't even have an iPad. I don't use Twitter. Like, I don't do any. I live in a regular home. He said he'd be happy with just making 6 figures a year. He'd be happy with that. He just has, like, for what he's looking for in life, you can't buy it at the moment. And I'm with him on that. Like, for what I really want in life, man, I want to travel to another planet. I want to be able to get off the earth and look back at this motherfucker, right? Like, I want to see that shit with my own eyes. I want to be able to watch myself leave Earth and be able to look up and look down to see, and to see the whole process happen and look back at the Earth. You know what I mean? And I want to go fly up to Jupiter, because I want to be able to fly up to Jupiter, right? I want to see it, and I want to see how fucking big and massive this shit is. Because remember, when I leave Earth, that's going to be a perspective from the size of Earth, right? But when you fly up to Jupiter, you're going to have a whole... It's going to get... It will have to get so massive to, like, you couldn't even see, like, anything around it. Well, Earth would have to be the same thing at some point, too. But it'd be like a whole different color. I want to go in the fucking red storm. I want to go in that motherfucker. I want to go in the middle of it and just, if I can, just, if you can see anything, I don't know, and just look around. Like the three, hold on, I'll show you. I want to go in that shit. Oh wait, Jupiter, not this. I want to go in that fucking red dot shit. I want to go in that bitch. You know what I mean? You see that red dot? Can y'all see that? I want to go in that storm. And I want to see what it is to, like, travel between them different layers. Like, does it actually change? Like, can you see it? Can you feel it? I don't know. I want to see that shit. I want to do it. For real. I want to do that shit. I want to be able to time travel. That's another thing I want to do. I want to be able to go back in time and hear out. You know what I was thinking when I was walking down the street a couple days ago? No, yesterday. This was yesterday, because I went to that library yesterday. What I regret is not being able to see how languages split off and developed into other languages. Right? Like I wish I could have I wish that I could, in some kind of way, witness how humans would break off and who once spoke one language, and they broke off and started to speak completely different language, and how it slowly changed over time, right? Like, there's so many little things like that. Like, you can't buy that, right? These are things you can't buy with money, at least at the moment. But I would and that's one thing I regret, is not seeing how languages just changed, like, slowly over time, and then watch how two people who used to speak to two groups of people who grew and developed, who used to once speak the same language, come back and can't understand each other anymore, right? Little shit like that, like or just watch, to be there firsthand, to just see humanity just grow and develop, right? And to see where it's going now. Because, like, for example, with sociology and all, because I'm back on my sociology kick right now. At the moment, the best government we have right now that can fully pump at any decent rate is not America, but democracy, right? That's the best thing we come up with. So as far as humans know, this is the best thing. But just like with that whole medical revolution, when they started doing surgeries on people, they would always get infected, right? But since they didn't know, they thought infection, they didn't know it was an infection. They thought the infection was just a part of the muscle healing, right? Because they didn't know yet. That's all they knew. So was with our government, like this is all we know. So we don't know what else we can do as as people. We don't know. And see, these are the things that I truly want. Everything else is, it's just a side hobby, something to kick around in the dirt, something like that. But see, these are things I really want to see. These are things, and I'm with Warren Buffett on this, like some things you just can't buy. And, in a simulation, it would be cool, it would be cute, but I want to actually see this shit. You know what I mean? Like how Futurama had them heads in the body. Like, I would do that. Put my head in a fucking box so I can watch it, so I can see humanity just develop and grow, and just how how things change and shift, and how cultures just change and shift. That's what I want to see. That's what I would love to witness. I would love that. That's worth more than than most things in my life right now. A fucking TV and a laptop for sure. If you do time travel, don't cause a flashpoint. Yo, that's another thing, Rana. Like the whole theory of is there multiple universes or is it one? I mean, there's all these theories out, but it's just a theory. Like all these different things. Like could you imagine like if somebody does find it out and they'd be like, well, actually it's 32 and a half. Like, and a half? What you mean and a half? Like you mean like because we don't know. We just these are just theories. Because on the back end, fucking 200 years ago there was let's say 500 years ago there was motherfuckers walking around saying like, yeah, one day I'm gonna be able to open my door by something I hold in my hand, and I ain't gonna have to walk over there and do it. And motherfuckers laughed his ass out the room for that shit. Because it was just a mismatch in time and technology and awareness. It wasn't a real thing. There was somebody back then, drawing cars somewhere. Somebody had the idea 500 years ago. Somebody had some general idea of it, but they had no, it just wasn't a reality at the time. And just like them motherfuckers were from Justinian law to fucking medical revolutions. When that time period kicked off, they thought they was the best they can get. That's the best you can get, motherfucker. It's a restaurant in town. That's the baddest shit you can come up with. You know what I mean? And time kept moving. And now we got you, motherfucker. I can have a video. I'm looking at you in the camera talking to you right now. And right now, this is the best shit that consumers can have as far as communicating. And time is gonna keep moving. And that's another one of my biggest regrets, that I'm not gonna be able to see where technology can keep going. What can keep being possible, right? And this is an unpopular opinion, I'm sure, about communism. Is communism just really came at a really bad time. So I'm gonna end this off where I started with talking about communism, because I'm in this book of the rise and fall of communism, and I think communism really just came at a bad time. Honestly, to be real with you, I think communism could have worked like 1,000 years ago. I think it really could have worked. I think communism was just out of time. I think communism really could have worked and really could have been successful 1,000 years ago. But I think all the timing was just off with it. And it did not account for. Okay, so primitive forms of communism had existed, or socialist / communism had existed, but they were primitive forms that were like mixed with others, so it wasn't like true socialist / communism shit. But after all that time and all that development and elaborating more on his socialist theory, by the time the actual social experiment started to take place in many areas, it didn't account for technology advancing anywhere near as fast as it did in the past, where all these theories were slowly being built up and created. And I think that was another thing that was just a poorly timed situation. Because, for example, in that book, where am I at? Oh fuck, I closed it. In that book I'm reading, it was Stalin actually had a speech that literally says exactly what I had the point that I had come to. Stalin had a speech himself that stated that Russia was 50 to 100 years behind the developed nations. Let me see if I can find it. If I can Google it real fast. He said Russia was 50 to 100 years behind advanced. Yeah, here it is. So here, I'll show you right here. See, it's weird how I'll like, because I didn't know this until I was reading that book. But how I stated before, communism, like they're going, like you're going to be 30 years behind at minimum. This was a speech by Joseph Stalin. We are 50 or 100 years behind the advanced countries. We must make good. Yes, they tried to hurry up and catch up in 10 years. Yeah, that shit's not gonna happen. Motherfucker, Russia didn't even get that national sense of literacy until 1950. Let me see if I can find that. That shit didn't even happen until 1950. Because before then, it was like 1920. It was yeah. So 60% literacy is pretty fucking low in terms of an entire country. So in 1877, the literacy rate was 24%. The rural literacy was 19%. And then once so much shit had happened in roughly these amount of years where Russia thought that the other countries were lying about like shit like having food in the grocery stores and shit like that. they thought America had been lying the whole time until they actually went to America and seen it. Like, oh, y'all motherfuckers, I thought y'all was lying about this. But yeah, that's life, man. Motherfuckers, yo, it's just humanity. We got to make shit happen. That's just, I'm not like roasting them. It's just humanity. We got to catch up to be able to protect ourselves from each other. It's a fucked up situation we got. If chivalry did not exist or was unpopular, who knows what kind of egalitarianism we could achieve. Well, Clint Eastwood, I started off this live stream by saying I think that the stoicism / true equality is going to have to, at this point, it's going to have to come from this socialist type shit. And the order that has to happen with the socialist shit, it's going to have to come to some type of dictatorship to kickstart it before the autonomy kicks in. The autonomy of the country or nation, whatever the fuck you want to call it, before the autonomy kicks in, you're going to have to go through that path of dictatorship because people, and the reason why communism failed, in my opinion, is because people just really like to own things. And I think that's one of those quiet common law things that humans didn't even realize we had within us, is that we just really like to own things, right? And trying to just take away things that we naturally want is defined that the natural common law of humans. So like, yeah, so when it comes to the laws, like it's built off of what the basic common law was written out, and then legislation's made after that to adapt it to that, culture of people. But one thing that had never been written down was humans like to own property. So once you strip out that property, even though I don't care about property like that, people need it. Like on a whole, they need to feel like they owned it, they worked for it, it's their property. They need to feel. If they don't feel it, and you keep taking it from them, well, those people trying to attack it from the top down, which is what communism tried to do. Instead of the socialists tried to ease into it, whereas communism tried to just beat up everybody and just do it in a year. If you do that, well, that human condition is still in people at some point, which is going to be in the dictator. The dictator, and all that's going to happen is they're going to start forming little. In my opinion, all that's going to happen is they're just going to start forming little cliques and little gangs, and they're going to exercise their natural human right to want to own and take shit. So they're just going to own and take from they're just going to keep owning and taking from all the peasants, which is essentially going to turn it back into capitalism. It's going to be the same shit. Right? So the dictator needs to be owned just as well as the peasants. And at this day and age, that's not going to happen, right? The only way that can happen is if we get Chat GPT to catch up and and that motherfucker and Chat GPT ends up being a dictator, and no human's gonna let that shit happen in the near future. So it's just gonna dive back into capitalism. Capitalism is our natural habitat at this point, in my opinion. At this point, capitalism is just our natural habitat. If you let us go, we're gonna go back into that shit at some point. It's going like this is like our human history is going to go back into this at some point. Once populations get too big, we naturally do it. Like I said, was when Jeremy Irons had a speech and he said that it's always been like this. The numbers, the percentages, they've never changed. The top 10% are essentially keeping together the 90% of the peasants. The numbers have never changed. The populations have changed, but the percentages have never changed. Not at all. And the few times that they've tried that humans have tried to take this top-down effect to try to force the change, majority of the time it never lasted too long. Here's the thing, in one way or another. So in one way, let's say like it was a form of socialist communism where they tried to either segue their way in or just flat out say, look, this is what it is. Bop, do this. Or if they tried to make utopias, right? So I'll tell you another thing I looked into was utopias. So let's do this. It's lagging. List of you here. So this is another interesting thing that I got into was looking in utopian communities, and most of them never lasted too long. Very few of them were actually profitable. But I can make a whole different video on this topic. How there were tons of, and America makes sense for why America has the majority of the list given the time period when all this happened, because right around like the 18th, 19th century was when all these theories of making this perfect land had started to creep out. But none of them lasted long in America. These little utopian cities where they were closed off and they tried to have this fair exchange amongst each other. It never worked. Because what's going to happen is somebody's going to come in and try to take some more than they deserve, and it's just going to boil back. It's just going to go back down in the capitalists because they're not going to trust each other anymore. They're going to have to come together to make some type of law and to make legislation to force you to be righteous, because they're just going to take more than they deserve or need for whatever reason, and it's going to die right back. So these utopian communities never lasted. I think the longest one lasted maybe 20 years that I was able to find in here. Oh, well, here's one. What's this? First settle. If they were actually able to maintain it. Wait, what is this? Founding date, ending date. So what? Okay, so yeah. I didn't see it. Okay. So yeah, majority of them didn't last long. The ones that do last, oh no, yeah, that's it. The ones that do last did not, okay, the ones that did not last in the way you would think. They last in collaboration with the trusted currency, because that belief in the state is so much more strong. And I was trying to tell my girl, like, the belief in the state. So the belief in the state. So every government is going to need 3 different areas that's going to essentially keep it held together in any kind of way. You're going to need a belief in the state. You're going to need laws, and then you're going to need a government to carry out said laws indiscriminately. Once you lack any one of those 3 too much, you're going to start having a lot of problems, right? So for example, America has a big belief in the state. They have a big belief in the state, but the laws and legislation keeps the state from getting too powerful. And this is the relatively speaking, perfect balance that North America has, right? So the belief in the state, for example, is like why in America, you're afraid of the police, right? Most Americans are going to be afraid of police. The fact that when you go to the store, without hesitation, if you walk in there with some US dollars, you can be able to buy something. and it's going to be at a steady, consistent, stable rate. See, that is your belief in the state, right? The fact that you believe in what the state has given you, what the state tells you, whatever the state has to offer you, you believe in it and you trust it, right? That's your belief in the state. Now, the laws are another thing. So with situations like this, the other issue with anarchist and utopian societies is that they usually fail horribly when it comes to making laws, right? This is where anarchists usually fail terribly, is that they don't think of what can replace what was there before, right? They're just mad now and they want change, right? And they think they want their, and I'm taking this from a book I was reading, and it was a really funny thing, but because it's so brutally real, it's funny. People think they want their freedom, right? So they'll go riot. And I mean freedom in quotation marks, because most people, here's the reality of it. Most people are not after freedom. What most people are after is more slave labor for free. That's the reality of it. Like how I said a long time ago, if you want luxury, then you want slave labor. There's no way around it for the majority of it. Every now and then you can get lucky in certain scenarios, but for the most part, if you want luxury, you want slave labor. There's just no way around it, right? So the thing with anarchists and utopian communities is that they would usually fail horrifically when it came time to make laws. Any types of laws and legislation, that's usually the area where it would start to crumble and fall apart. Like, for example, New Harmony. The reason why New Harmony failed was because they tried to set up a community where everybody, they traded amongst each other for, they pretty much went backwards in time and traded goods for goods amongst each other, and they created a credit system. Well, the dictator, who doesn't see himself as a dictator, but that's what he was. He was a dictator. He got up and left because he thought that the community was autonomous. Well, when he came back, the community just crumbled. It was gone because there was no laws or regulations to check the credit system. So people were taking shit that they shouldn't have. Then they're going to start falling into fights and arguments, and they're going to just create democracy all over again. That's what capitalist/democracy all over again. Capitalism/democracy is our natural habitat as humans. The only difference that changed, in my opinion, in democracy is the fact that American democracy, evolved to the next level of completely ripping kinship out of every institution, and on top of that, setting up this institution to be able to take out that institution, and that institution can take out this institution. They took ripping out kinship to the next level, to where no one area has too much power. Now, even then, you can still have scenarios where cliques will still form in there, and that goes over in the book I have, how democracies die, and it goes over different scenarios of how other democracies failed. And I think it happened in I want to say Brazil, but I could be wrong, or Paraguay. It was somewhere in South America where many countries tried to adopt the American prototype and failed horribly, because and not because they were like inferior or anything, just because there's a lot of luck that has to be playing part of it too, to keep people up and moving properly. Hi, D. What's up? Millennium. We are a social hierarchical species, thus we will always have masters and serfs. Yeah, you had to keep everything going. But then the sick part is the really, like, I gotta get off here, man. But the other part is the serfs like other serfs. You know what I mean? Like, I had a hard time remember what that word meant a long time. I remember somebody brought it up a long time ago. Completely, but no, the serfs love other serfs, right? Well, that's essentially like what, any homeowner, it's all just vassal shit. Like, it's just domestic vassal shit. But serfs love serfs, man. Like, because I remember, because I was telling we got in this conversation, and I told her about all this shit. But this was before I got into reading this, about how like, has she ever given any thought like why McDonald's is still open at whenever you want to go? Like, did you ever stop to think at the belief that you have within you that if you go to McDonald's, you're getting ready to get a hamburger, You know you getting ready to get some nuggets. You know you didn't even hesitate to think twice about it, right? Did you ever give any thought as to why that is, how it was able to even develop to that point? You know what I mean? Like, and these are the things that I think people around the world, serfs as a whole, should really think about. But you don't have time because, like I said, I'm getting ready to go, man. But like I said last week, I think the 40-hour work week replaced religion in human development. Because now with the 40-hour work week, well, because religion was pretty much, well, no, it was put in the forefront because it infiltrated people's minds on so many different levels, but primarily for the chance to go to heaven after they died in relatively speaking Western societies, right? Relatively speaking. Well, I say like what's that from that whole Islam area on west was pretty much that. The whole hope of getting, of getting getting repayment for all your suffering from being a peasant on earth, right? That was majority of the reason what kept it going, and what kept it pumping for so long. And then after the Industrial Revolution popped off, motherfuckers started having to work so long, the religion slowly started to fade off, and in a decent amount of people, and that 40-hour work week was the new religion for a different reason, of course, because in the 40-hour work week, well, now you don't have any time to think of starting an insurgency, starting a domestic war. You don't have any time because you're working 40 hours a week to survive. So by the time you go to work all day, you come home, you're fucking tired. You're too tired to think for yourself, right? You're too tired. You're exhausted. Because guess what? You got to get up tomorrow morning and go to work all day. And when you come home, you're too tired to do anything. And you depend on the state. The state has to educate your kids. The state has to, the state's is making sure everything's working. The state's doing everything. You can't get up and do anything. You cannot. There's no hope of you gaining any serious independent thought. So in my opinion, the 40-hour work week replaced the core reasons why religion was put up to the forefront of everything. Because you got no chance to think. You have no time to think about yourself. None. And that comes out in different ways. Because, for example, let's say a farmer before the Industrial Revolution. Farmers, the family of farmers, whatever. Well, they weren't connected to the state anywhere near as deeply, right? Because when they worked, they would come home and they would educate their own kids. They're cleaning their own houses. They're maintaining everything on their own. The state didn't, like, let's say in any empire or dynasty, especially over 1,000 years ago, they didn't have the time or resources to go out and check every individual county and state and every little individual city of if everybody's doing it. They didn't have time to do that, right? So the people didn't depend on the state anywhere near as much as they do now, right? But so what they did was they educated their own people, but in doing that, you're going to raise a whole lot more independent mentalities, and those independent mentalities are going to start clashing, and that's how you're going to start having insurgencies, issues within the country, domestic wars, domestic battles. That's what you're going to have. That's why there was a whole lot more of those back then than there are now. See, now you have a better chance of killing yourself from eating too much McDonald's than you have from dying from a domestic war, right? And that's why. Because the 40-hour work week killed it. It killed that 40-hour work week killed any independent thought that you could have. And you can say it's for a good reason. Because again, it could be for a good reason. Some people don't some people don't need to be alone with their own thoughts. But yeah, I'm gonna get out of here because it's 10:02. So yeah, thanks to everybody who tuned in. Thanks to everybody who comment, like, subscribe. Yeah, I know it's late, but speak a little louder. Well, yeah, I'm trying to get quick because it's 10 o'clock and I don't want to be too loud at night. But I'm gonna get out of here, man. So I'll catch y'all later. Thanks everybody for tuning in. I'll leave this live stream up. I'm gonna try to live stream tomorrow for about an hour. But yeah, I'll let y'all go, man. Peace out.